out, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit LouisianaPropane.com.
Ever wonder why cane sauce doesn't come in a pre-sealed packet? It's because it's made fresh inside every Raising Cane's every single day. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Ed Bankin. The wife of Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy was shot Sunday night in her Virginia home. Police have charged the couple's 27-year-old son, Elijah. Chiefs coach Andy Reid addressed the situation earlier as the Chiefs continued with work at training camp.
Our hearts go out to Eric Bieniemy and his family. Thoughts and prayers are with them. I can't get into details on it, but things happen sometimes, and Eric will work through it. He's got a great support group here, as does his family.
Mia Bieniemy is in stable condition and remains hospitalized. Eric Bieniemy left Chiefs camp, and Reid said there's no timetable for his return. North Carolina football general manager Michael Lombardi has been placed on paid administrative leave for the university with no details given, but the decision stemmed from a human resources complaint. Colts quarterback Daniel Jones said on the Pat McAfee show he's been cleared for practice at training camp. Jones suffered an Achilles tear last December. In baseball, one afternoon game involving the top of the AL West. They were in the top of the sixth inning. The Rangers lead the Mariners 7-2. Texas with a game-and-a-half lead in the division. Later tonight, the Yankees and White Sox open a 4-game series.
If you run a small business, you've got to try Gusto. Get unlimited payroll runs and get your payroll taxes filed automatically. Offer health insurance, 401k, and more. Get started for free at gusto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane's studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Saints Camp Eve. Ross Jackson will be here. Lance Moore will be here. Big Ten Media Days underway. Bill Bender will be here. A ton to do. Let's begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
We are fresh off of SEC football media days. The New Orleans Saints open training camp on Tuesday. LSU will open up fall camp in a week and a couple of days. So naturally, we will begin with baseball. And the fact that we're beginning with baseball tells you how big of a story this is, how rare of a story this is. You probably saw it over the weekend. LSU's top prospect from this most recent signing class is Logan Schmidt. He's a lefty who's 6'4" and throws 98. Okay? Big-time prospect. And nobody associated with LSU or Logan Schmidt or baseball at any level, nobody expected Logan Schmidt to be a college baseball player. Nobody. You take the commitment because he's a 6'4" lefty who throws 98, and you never know, just maybe. But you understand that guy's going to get drafted. He'll sign for $1 bajillion, and he'll never throw a single pitch in college baseball. But you take the commitment in case if something wackadoo happens. Well, something wackadoo happened. A little more background. So Schmidt just turned 18. Just turned 18. And he's 6'4" and throws 98. Upside. Even more upside than he already has, basically is what you're seeing. MLB.com rated him as the number 45 prospect in this draft. Not high school pitchers, not left-handed pitchers, not college and in college. Not high school players. Number 45 overall, regardless of player, age, position, whatever. The number 45 prospect in this draft. There was no intention ever of Logan Schmidt ever coming to school. And the draft rolls around. And he slides out of round 1, which is not uncommon. And you know how the draft works. We've talked about this so many times over the years. Team calls and says, hey, we're going to take you here. Would you accept X signing bonus? And if they say yes, they get picked. If not, the team moves on to the next prospect. For example, Derek Curiel was the slot value for Curiel was around $8 million. He signed for just over $6 million. That's because Pittsburgh called him and said, hey, we're going to take you here. Will you accept 6, which is below sign? Yeah, of course I will. Boom, done. You're a top 5 pick. Congratulations. So that's how it goes. Only it didn't go that way with Logan Schmidt. Cleveland picked Schmidt 59th overall, but they did not have a deal in place. They just blind drafted the best player available without a deal in place. Now, Cleveland's problem is they didn't have enough money in their bonus pool to sign Schmidt for the number he wanted. Now, we don't know that number publicly, but the maximum amount of money that Cleveland had available to sign Schmidt was $1.7 million. And he said no. On Sunday night, Schmidt put on social media that he is not signing with the Cleveland Guardians. The deadline is literally right now. 6 minutes ago was the deadline, 4 Eastern. And Schmidt announced he's not taking Cleveland's offer. So now he's got really 2 options. One is he comes to school at LSU. And that may seem like an awesome option. It is a good option for a lot of players. You can come to LSU. You can play in front of great fans, against great competition, compete to go to a College World Series, make some NIL money, develop the same way that Paul Skeens and Kate Anderson and Anthony Irons and Engage Jump all did. And maybe in 3 years you make even more money in the draft because you're a top 10 pick and you're fast tracked toward the show like we saw with Gage Jump, like we're seeing right now with Kate Anderson. Like, all that's true. Paul Skeens, all that's true. It's also true that it's 3 years away. And for a guy who had no intention at all of stepping foot on the college campus 3 weeks ago, 3 years probably feels like an eternity, especially when you're 18 years old. That's like a fifth of your life. You know what I mean? So it's a really tough thing. The other option he has is you can go JUCO. You go to JUCO, play 1 year in JUCO, and re-enter the draft next summer. This is what Mac Marshall did. Brady Aiken did this, where they thought they'd go higher. They didn't. Instead of coming to LSU, they went JUCO, then entered the draft later. So if you come to school, there's always a risk. I just went through all the pros, the positives of coming to LSU. There's also the possibility he gets injured. There's also the possibility that he comes to school and doesn't pitch well. See Cam Johnson, the guy that passed on $3 million to come to LSU and is now floated around LSU, Oklahoma on his third school now, and we'll see what happens. I presume he didn't sign. I don't know if he signed. I guess he didn't. I don't know. But the point is, benefit of hindsight, Cam Johnson probably wishes he can go back 3 years and take $3 million. So Logan Schmidt is most likely. And look, I haven't talked to Logan Schmidt. I reached out to him, offered him the opportunity to come on the show. Would love to have him on. And the good news is he's listening to LSU, right? Every bit of information we were able to get this weekend is that he's at least listening. He hasn't completely closed the door. He's listening to what LSU has to say. Most likely, he's going to go JUCO. Like, if I had to put a percentage, I'd go 80-20 JUCO. But 3 weeks ago, I would have said 0.00000000001% LSU. 80-20 is a far way from 0.00001 LSU. You got a shot. And from my perspective, ain't nobody in the world I'd rather sitting on that dude's couch making the pitch than Jay Johnson. Literally, there is literally nobody else in college baseball I would want making that pitch to that kid to come to LSU. Nobody could do it better than Jay. So we'll see. But man, what a coup this would be. I mean, we were talking at the draft about all the left-handed arms. LSU did not get a lefty in the portal. I mean, you returned Cooper Williams and Plog and Lockenmeyer, and Jonah Ase is a little bit of a wild card because he had Tommy John, didn't pitch last year. But you get Lucas Naraki on campus. That was a coup. Lefty who throws 95, but 5'11", shorter guy, not as big a ceiling. Brady Cupid from West Monroe, strike thrower from the left side. Braxton Beatty also, he'll show up on campus, but that's 3 freshmen. So you got 4 returning guys that haven't really been super-duper contributors, and then 3 freshmen coming in. You didn't go add any lefties out of the portal. You have options. This would be a high-end, huge talent, high-ceiling type guy. And after you lost an elite arm in Marcos Paz, if you're able to add an elite arm in Logan Schmidt, that would feel like a one-for-one trade-off, maybe even a little better considering you're getting a lefty from the, throws 98. So as far as the timeline, really the only timeline in place is the start of the fall semester, which at LSU begins August 24th. So if you're, so as to say, if you're Logan Schmidt, the only real timeline you had was today at 4 Eastern, Monday at 4 Eastern, to decide if you're signing with Cleveland or not. He announced Sunday he's not taking that offer, so now he's got about a month. He's got a month to make his decision. Is he going to go JUCO and enter the draft again next year, or is he going to come spend 3 years at LSU? Jay Johnson trying to do the almost unthinkable and get this elite level prospect, Logan Schmidt, the number 1 prospect in LSU's class, onto campus. The wild and wacky has already happened, which has opened the door to the possibility of Schmidt coming to campus. We will follow it to see if Jay can get it across the finish line. All right, it's after further review. Now we'll talk about football. Our show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with a great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of your Fighting Tigers of LSU. By the way, you can find them in stores now. The officially licensed LSU bottles and cans, the 16-ounce bottles, the 12-ounce cans. Beautiful new design on this year's bottles and cans, so check them out at any great local retailer. And if you have your favorite watering hole, favorite restaurant, hanging out by the pool, last trip to the beach, whatever it may be, drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. Okay, Saints open up camp tomorrow. I have my what to watch. I want Ross Jackson to join us next. I'll throw out mine. I'll get his. We'll talk a little Saints camp preview next on AFR.
AFR.
GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com, complete employer solutions, Glow Resources, and glowresources.com. A hat tip to my buddy Jareth Knockan. Just about a couple weeks ago, the Baton Rouge Business Report Top 100 came out, top 100 private businesses in Baton Rouge. Glow Resources up yet again on that list, up 11% year over year. Just incredible to see the growth, and I'm so happy for Jareth and the folks at Glow. And home base is here in Baton Rouge. Their main office is on Perkins Road, right near Pennington, at the corner of Perkins and Quail Oak. By the way, if you ever get a chance, just pop in there and see their office. It's gorgeous. Go see it. But they serve businesses all over the country. Okay, so if you're listening or watching, online, YouTube, whatever, and you're outside of Baton Rouge, no worries. If you're looking for the right people, Glow Resources can help you. Check them out online at glowresources.com. Skilled blue-collar labor, any type of office job, you want Glow Resources. GLO, glowresources.com.
Raising Cane's is honoring Chuck Norris on National Chicken Finger Day. For every box combo sold on July 27th, Cane's is donating $1 to Chuck's Foundation, Kickstart Kids.
Bayou Ford is taking $13,000 off MSRP on the new 2026 Ford F-150 trucks.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Yeah, still working through the recovery process, and so I won't necessarily see him out there in the football elements, but he's done an awesome job.
Back at the end of May, Kellen Moore didn't have much to say about Kendre Miller. Will that change as the Saints get set to open up training camp? Tuesday, the Saints will hit the practice field as they get ready for year 2 under Kellen Moore. I know what I'm keeping an eye on throughout camp. We'll ask Ross Jackson the same. LouisianaSports.net and Locked On Saints. Good enough to hang out with us. Yo, man, how are you?
Hey, man, doing great. Glad to be here.
Kendre Miller, I know it's not the most important aspect of this team, but it's one of the most interesting to me considering what you have invested, a former third-round pick, and it looked like Ross last year. He was emerging. He was looking like the explosive guy we thought he could be coming out of TCU. The injury chops him down. Now you bring in HN. They re-signed Kamara, a couple of young backs as well. Is Kendre Miller going to make this team?
Yeah, I mean, that's really what this training camp is going to be all about, right? He's going to a contract year here in 2026, and now he's got to prove again that he's going to be able to stay on the field, stay healthy, and continue to contribute. It's interesting, I think, and as you highlighted, the biggest question mark around Kendre is very rarely anything about his talent. It's always about whether or not that talent's going to be on the football field or not. So I really think that's what this all comes down to. I think training camp is going to be massive for him. Head coach Kellen Moore said last year that they were effectively starting off with him with a clean slate. Now it's a clean slate plus an ACL tear at this point, and that's going to be something he's got to show that he can come back from, maintain that explosion and keep it going. I think if he's able to do that, there's a lot of reason to keep him around. He's an explosive rusher. He's hard to bring down. He can contribute on special teams for you as well. And so I think for all those reasons, he has the edge if he's able to stay on the field throughout training camp, but he's going to have some competition along the way. And of course, the biggest competition is going to be his availability.
How many running backs do you think they keep, Ross?
I think they could probably keep 4. Look, this is a team that no longer utilizes a fullback, much to Hesser's dismay there. But but because of that, it does give them the opportunity to be able to keep somebody around. And in the past, maybe that spot was kind of taken up by Taysom Hill, right? Last year when he returned back to the lineup and he was able to contribute to the run game. You don't have that here going into 2026. And while Tyler Shuck can run, you probably want to protect him as best as possible. And so I would imagine that keeping Travis Etienne Jr., keeping Alvin Kamara means that there could be a spot for 2 more running backs here.
Okay, I want to stay on the offensive side. We know, look, a year ago at this point, Ross, we didn't know who the quarterback was going to be. It was a Rattler-Shuck battle, and that ate up all of camp. I guess Hainer in there as well. But now we know it's Tyler Shuck's team, but the backup quarterback is unsettled, and you've got Rattler returning, but they went and added a young veteran in Zach Wilson. What should we know about that competition, or is it a competition?
Yeah, I think you got a little bit of a competition there. I think the thing that's super interesting about it is what are you looking for and what's going to be most valuable for the development of Tyler Shuck, and what can you get out of those 2 players that's going to be able to check those boxes. I do think, of course, the quarterback 2 spot is about who's the guy that could step in and start for you if you needed to, or who's a guy that can go in at even the end of a game and just is the best at handoffs, right, while you're trying to run the clock out, whatever it might be. There's, those pieces of it. But I also think that the other big thing here that you're looking for is who's going to be the guy that Tyler Shuck goes to on the sideline and has conversations with, along with the offensive coordinator, Doug Nussmeier, and head coach Kellen Moore, and says, okay, what did you see? Because that's what a lot of the, you think about the Chase Daniels of the world, the Mark Brunells of the world, the Teddy Bridgewaters of the world, those guys that were great backup quarterbacks for New Orleans while Drew Brees was around. Those were guys that he could go off to the sideline with and have a conversation with. And so who's going to be that player? And so the value of what you're trying to weigh here is the institutional knowledge, which is where Spencer Rattler kind of has a little bit of the advantage there, being that he started multiple games in this system with head coach Kellen Moore just last year, or is the overall NFL experience of a guy like Zach Wilson more valuable? So it'll be interesting to see exactly what it is that they find most valuable out of those two things, in addition to the on-field performance, which of course will factor in. But I do think that the above-the-shoulders-ness of those two guys is going to be a big deciding factor.
Ross, could they keep them both considering the emergency quarterback on game day?
Yeah, that certainly maximizes things. You could even get, you could potentially even get one of those guys to the practice squad potentially. But the Hunter Deckers factor kind of has an impact there, I imagine. Kellen Moore and the Saints really like Hunter Deckers, like what, the development piece that he is. And so how he factors in as well turns that from a two-person conversation to a three-person conversation in terms of keeping that third quarterback either on the active roster or on the practice squad, but certainly a route that they can go with that emergency third quarterback rule.
At Ross Jackson NOLA is where you can get him. You can always read him for free at louisianasports.net, listen or watch for free, Locked On Saints. One on defense, and I'll get a few maybe that you're keeping an eye on. I'm fascinated by this linebacker rotation because they keep adding young guys there, and they've obviously already seen Demario Davis out. And it makes me think, Ross, that when you look at the contract, this could be Pete Werner's last year in New Orleans. Are you seeing the same thing in this camp, that this feels really like an important month for Pete Werner?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's important for him. And I also think that there's the chance that it doesn't have a lot to do with what he does. It might really be all about what Danny Stutzman does. The stat that always keeps jumping out to me about Danny Stutzman in particular, and we're talking about kind of like keeping this linebacker room interesting. He's a player that certainly does that. He took just over 200 snaps last year, had 53 tackles. He had tackles on 26% of his defensive snaps, which is an insane frequency that, you go from 200 snaps to 600 snaps, you're probably not, sustaining that rate of playmaking. But you add on top of that a 5.4% missed tackle rate, just really reliable as a guy that can come in and make plays, and he made those plays at, just beyond, and behind the line of scrimmage throughout the season last year when he got his opportunities. And so depending on what his performance is, the battle might be a little one-sided, right? Because it might not become about what it is that Pete Werner does over the course of the training camp month, but what does Danny Stutzman do? And so I think it's equally important for both of those players. And then the Caden Ellis piece of it is super interesting too, because he has the ability to rush the passer. He has all of these incentives built into his contracts that start at 5 sacks and continue to progress from there. And so when he is down at the line of scrimmage, for instance, as opposed to dropping back in coverage, is there an opportunity maybe to have 2 linebackers on the field with him as opposed to 1 linebacker in those coverage downs? And so that becomes a really interesting piece to it as well. When they decide to treat Caden Ellis like an edge rusher, how that maybe maximizes opportunities for both Pete Werner and Danny Stutzman.
You also were right to point out late last season at the opportunities that a guy like Isaiah Stallberg got. And then there's also Jalen Ford. Are those guys that potentially make this team? I'm just thinking numbers there at linebacker.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've got 6 linebackers. Keeping 5 isn't on the active roster isn't out of the ordinary, right? Because you want a couple of guys that are also going to be able to contribute on special teams. You'd probably like to not have Caden Ellis running down the field on kick coverage, right? You'd like to keep him reserved for what you're doing defensively. And so having guys like Isaiah Stallberg as well as Jalen Ford that can both provide you depth at the position, but also get after, returners and covering the punt game, covering the kick game. Isaiah Stallberg rushing punters in some cases. There's a lot of, opportunities to be able to keep those guys involved there. And so the only person that ends up being the odd man out at the position is Jackson Sermon, who the Saints signed late this offseason. He's the son of Saints linebacker coach Peter Sermon, but he also has a quick way and quick path to the practice squad as a potential, additional body there, a guy that could get elevated throughout the season, things like that. And so really, like the Saints have 6 linebackers, and it's unless they continue to add more options, it would not be surprising at all to see all 6 of them involved in the overall roster, which includes the active roster and the practice squad going into 2026.
Russ, what are position battles or players are you keeping an eye on when they hit the practice field tomorrow?
Yeah, well, the number one number that I'm looking for when I get out on the practice field is going to be number 0. Where's Jordan Tyson, and how much is he doing? Are the Saints finally letting him go out there and, be a part of team drills and be involved in all these other things, or do we continue to see a little bit of a ramp up? Because he wasn't involved in off-season practices, a little bit of a ramp up wouldn't be massively surprising. And of course, there's reporting days, and then there's also the actual practice day. And so we'll see how quickly he's able to get involved. But that'll be number 1. The other thing that I'm super interested in is the competition, or really just how everything unfolds in the interior defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Devon Godshaw, Brian Brzee are guys that sit at the top of the depth chart, but what happens behind those guys? Christian Miller, drafted in the 2nd round this year. He started to get involved towards the end of mandatory minicamp. Now he has his opportunity to be out on the field here as training camp gets started. Vernon Broughton making his return from injury, all that. It's going to be very interesting to me to see how that position group plays out. And then, of course, the kicker competition. The Saints had the worst field goal percentage in the NFL last year, even after getting a boost when they switched over from Blake Grupe over to Charlie Smith. Now they've got Charlie Smith and Tanner Brown, who was 25 of 28 last year in the UFL and was 4 of 4 in the postseason, including 3 kicks that he made from 60 yards or more. There's a real competition to be had there now when it comes to kicker. And I know it's not the sexiest position in the world, but it could be the difference between wins and losses for this team next year.
Sure. A couple of quick follow-ups. I don't know if you've put pen to paper on this yet, but typically, Ross, they go to camp, and there's like a certain number of guys that are going to have a spot no matter what. Like we know Shuck, and I mean, obviously your tackles and Edwards. I mean, you go down the list on both sides. As best you can tell, how many roster spots are actually up for grabs? Like of the 53, how many are locked in? How many are up for grabs?
Yeah, that's a really, really good observation and good insight, because it's interesting. There aren't many. I'd be hard pressed to put a number on it right now, just off the top of my head. But the fact of the matter is that you're probably looking at 10 or less, right? Like,
sure.
There's not a lot of roster spots that are specifically open, because there's not a lot of. You think about the starters on either side of the football. There's not a lot of moves to be made there, and not a lot of jostling to be made there. That's 22 down. You already have most of your specialists in the building, so you're at least at 24 or 25, and then beyond that, you kind of know how the depth builds out. For instance, at wide receiver, maybe you'll see a little bit more jostling, but you also have 3 draft picks there, and you kind of expect all 3 of the draft picks to make the roster, and so that maybe leaves 1 spot open potentially at wide receiver. And so for the most part, I mean, you're looking at all these positions across the board for New Orleans. The starter and kind of the primary backup or primary set of backups is almost all set. And then the rest of the positions that might be kind of, that you can compete for might be, I don't want to call them open, but attainable, I guess. You're looking at like the bottom of the cornerback room, the bottom of the safety room, the bottom of the wide receiver room, some jostling at the bottom of the offensive line. And that's kind of where you're looking at all of this to happen. So not a lot available for players that are looking to make an active roster here in New Orleans. And so it's going to be big for them in terms of putting some tape up during preseason, because they're auditioning for 31 other teams as well. And then, of course, opportunities on the practice squad.
Last thing, I wanted to ask one follow-up on the interior of the defensive line. And you brought up veterans like Gottschall and Brzee, and then you've got Vernon Broughton coming off of injury. You bring in Christian Miller. They got enough spots for all these guys?
Yeah, no, I don't think that they do. It's going to be very interesting to see how this area of the roster plays out. Gottschall's coming in as a guy that, helped this team on at least develop itself as a run defense on a per snap basis, and was able to help contribute in the early downs, first and second. But does he end up getting pushed by one of these young guys that can be an early down player, meaning that they're really good against the run, but then also adds value as a third down pass rusher on the interior as well, in a way that he maybe doesn't? I mean, this is a guy that doesn't practice on third down day, for instance, and usually has a limited day during those days. So do you start to look at that as the Saints as like, okay, yeah, I have this player that's really, really good in these first and second downs, but I also have this player that's really, really good first, second, and third down. So do I want to invest more of a roster spot in that player instead? And so there'll be some interesting kind of negotiations to be had about what the interior of the defensive line looks like, which now extends out to sort of those 3-4 defensive ends, not just the nose tackles. to see exactly how the formation of that room is going to look. I think that's going to be one of the more hardest to predict rooms in the roster construction purposes, at least going into camp. And then obviously we'll get some more clarity as camp goes on.
You will get the most comprehensive practice reports anywhere, absolutely free at LouisianaSports.net. I know because I edited a lot of them with Ross. No, but do not apologize, please. And, of course, always free at LouisianaSports.net. And then Locked On Saints. He's at Ross Jackson Nola. Thanks, dude. We appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Back at you. Take care. Stay safe. Talk to you soon.
All right, man. It's after further review. It's getting cranked up. Saints camp tomorrow. Make sure you're following Ross's coverage. We're brought to you by Arco Power Systems. Should I do it?
I mean, yeah, of course.
All right. We're brought to you by Arco Power Systems. ARCCO, 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 and Arco is their name. Oh, no one over there has yet been ticked at me for doing it.
This is great.
Great. That's such a liberal use of the term great.
You remember
use.
it? You remember it?
Memorable, one thing. Great, just because it's memorable doesn't mean it's great. Barbie Girl by Aqua. Memorable, not great.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, really?
A lot of people ask about it.
No, because it's memorable.
But that's the thing. It's a conversation starter.
It doesn't mean the song is great.
Oh, the song's horrible.
That's the point.
The song's terrible.
That's the point. Oh, it kind of sounded like you just were kind of down with it.
I mean,
like that song.
The bits worked out pretty well.
It has worked out really well. ARCCO, 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 and Arco is their name. Arco Power Systems, industrial. What they do actually is very serious. Industrial Generac generator power. These are standby generators for your business, industrial facility. Everything's turnkey. They'll sell, service, install, rent your industrial Generac generators. Check them out at arco.com, arco.com, arco.com. Okay, let's knock out a quick break. Come back, go around the SEC. Did you hear what Urban Meyer had to say as Big Ten Media Days kicks off? A little response to the convo last week about the SEC breaking away from college football. You hear it next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Big shout out and a thank you to our partners over at RevFiber.com, RevFiber.com, RevFiber.com. Rev was one of the presenting sponsors of our coverage all last week at SEC Football Media Days. And we're so grateful because weeks like that and us bringing you that coverage isn't possible without Relief Windows, without Rev Fiber. So we're so grateful to Rev for being our partners there last week. And to remind you that if you are, well, who isn't? So, like, if you're looking for high-speed internet, like, who isn't? Of course. But Rev Fiber, you're talking about speeds up to 5 gigs, so lightning-fast speeds, and backed by the security of an all-fiber network. So the cables are buried under the ground. If you're curious to see if Rev has laid fiber in your area, go to the website, revfiber.com, revfiber.com. You get a better price, great local customer service. It's Rev Fiber. For your home or your business, REV, revfiber.com, revfiber.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 2025 Jeep Wrangler with $18,000 off MSRP.
$18,000 off Jeep Wrangler plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Community sailing is all about getting people in the New Orleans area out on boats, out on Lake Pontchartrain. Gulf Coast Bank helps us provide opportunities to get folks out who might not otherwise have the financial means to come sailing. Auctions in August is an online fundraiser that helps nonprofits like us service the community. Bidding through Auctions in August is a lot of fun because there's so many different items. There's something for everyone, so you're sure to find something that relates directly to you that you'll enjoy bidding on, and you get to help out the community.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last, because in Louisiana, toughness isn't just on the court, it's in your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last, because championships are built on commitment, not just on the floor of the court, but your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Raising Cane's Texas Toast is a thick slice of bread, garlic butter spread, grilled to golden perfection, and made to order just for you. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite.
Telling you about our friends at River Parish Contractors. Do amazing work and have for years. At River Parish Contractors, execution is more than just completing the project. It's delivering safe, predictable results through experienced leadership, skilled craftsmanship, disciplined project management. Today, River Parish Contractors is a full-service industrial construction company with more than 500 employees, dedicated estimating, project management, safety, quality organizations in a 32,000 square foot automated pipe and structural steel fabrication facility. It's incredible. Their capabilities for maintenance, turnarounds, capital projects, civil construction, pipe fabrication, structural steel fabrication. They do it all. They do it better than anyone. It's River Parish Contractors. rpcontractors.com. rpcontractors.com.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
A week ago, Greg Sankey, during his State of the Conference address to Open SEC Media Days, was asked about the possibility, if the conversations around the SEC breaking away and operating independently were real. And he answered it in a way so as to say, yes, the conversations are real, as if to say, yes, they've really happened. And he preferred that they remain behind closed doors or on Zoom calls. But it's really been the Georgia contingent, Kirby and Georgia leadership, that has brought those to light, where Kirby has said, yeah, like if they can't reach an agreement, that they would break away. And what the way I've explained it is, it's not that dissimilar actually from, 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, when then Commissioner Mike Slive went to SEC Media Days and saber rattled about the cost of attendance. Do you remember that? If you don't, it's okay. But effectively, the power schools wanted the NCAA to allow cost of attendance, meaning whatever gap existed, so like scholarship, room and board, all that stuff, whatever the full cost of attendance was, they wanted to be able to fill that gap so they could pay the student athletes a stipend so to fill that gap for snacks and food or whatever the case may be. It wasn't a lot of money, maybe $1,000, $2,000 a semester, something like that. And not every FBS school could afford that. Well, the SEC and the Big Ten, the power ones could. And so what they basically said was, you're not going to dictate terms to us. Like, we don't care if Nevada can't. We can. So don't tell us we can't do it because Nevada and Fresno and Ohio U and Monroe can't do it. Or we're going to have a problem. So fall in line, or we're just going to go do our own thing. So it's been the trump card that the power conferences, in particular the SEC and Big Ten schools, have held forever. And they're using it here again because they're not going to allow the tail to wag the dog. They're not going to say, well, if we want these provisions, but the Big Ten and the SEC want these provisions, but the ACC and the Big 12 and the new Pac-12 and the Mountain West and the American, they don't. Well, they got numbers, but in this case, the sum of the parts, meaning the SEC and the Big Ten, is greater than the whole of all the other leagues. So you can tell us you don't want to do this, but if you all vote against us, we'll just go do our own thing. And that means the rest of you collapse and everybody knows it. Well, that's the whole impetus behind the breakaway conversation. Urban Meyer, on his podcast, The Triple Option, sort of responded to those comments.
My feeling when I heard Greg Sankey say this is not new. This has been around, I'd say, minimum of 2 years, that you've heard the possibility of, could they leave the NCAA? I would say the probability of the SEC leaving solo is 0.0. Is a reality that the Big Ten and SEC have had conversation about going on their own? And the answer is yes. That's the two super leagues. They would obviously get more teams involved. College sports, as we know, would change dramatically, yet it would be a financial windfall for those two conferences.
Is it what you would want as a college football fan?
No, of course not.
Now, I have said here for years, I mean, one of the great things about this era, everything's recorded, said this literally since the summer of 2011, when the first giant seismic realignment happened, when A&M and Missouri came into the SEC and Nebraska and Rutgers and Maryland went to the Big Ten and all that sort of stuff. You know, Arizona State, Colorado, Utah went to the Pac-12 at the time, whatever. I have been historically correct about this. It was one thing that was just very easy to follow the money. It's a very easy thing to see for me. And in my lifetime, I said this 14 years ago, and I still believe it to 15 years ago. I still believe it today. In my lifetime, we will see a world where college football operates independent of the NCAA. It's just college football. And it's going to be the SEC teams, the Big Ten teams, and then a select few others. If it's 50 or 60 teams, whatever it is, maybe it's a buy-in option, but it's only going to be the biggest brands. And they're going to go operate independently. And they'll collectively bargain with their athletes, and they'll have a cap and all this. We're heading there. It's an inevitability. And it will happen in my lifetime. I don't know if it'll happen tomorrow or next year, 5 years or 10 years, but it's going to happen in my lifetime. God willing, I live tomorrow. You know what I mean. But the point is, yes, we are headed there, inevitably. Because the system as it is currently constructed is, everyone says it's not sustainable, but it's not. It doesn't work anymore. So like the way that the NCAA operated forever was under the premise, a flawed premise of amateurism, which we all know is laughable. So if you're actually going to share revenue and pay players and all that sort of stuff, you have to have limits and constructs around there, and you can't do it in the current model governed by the NCAA. So they are going to do this eventually. But it's not just going to be the 16 SEC teams. It's going to be the SEC teams, the Big Ten teams, and others that are relevant enough to add value. Clemson, Miami, Florida State, maybe Arizona State, like those types of programs. We'll see what it all looks like, but that will happen inevitably in my and hopefully all of our lifetime. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. Southpointvw.com, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. Told you about a month ago, went by South Point, got my new Volkswagen Atlas Crossport, the 2026. Actually, I just got a message that my license plate is in, so I need to go pick it up over at South Point. But it's never a bad day to pop into South Point Volkswagen. They always got great deals as well. Remember, through the end of this month, they got the 4th of July savings. Even though today's the 27th, they've kept the 4th of July sale going all the way through the month of July. And the end of the month typically is the best time to go buy a new vehicle. So get on by, take advantage of the great deals like 0.9% for 60 months on 2026 Atlas. It's a brand new Atlas for 0.9% for 5 years. Basically free money for 5 years. Go get your new vehicle at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland, southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Florida Gators.
Florida's hired Greg McMahon as a special team assistant. Most recently was a special teams coordinator at Tulane in 2023 and 2024. Worked with John Summerall in that 2024 season, of course. Held that position at LSU from 2018 to 2021. Was not retained by Brian Kelly. Proved to be one of the big mistakes that Brian Kelly made. McMahon will assist first-year Florida special teams coordinator Jonathan Galante.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Will Stein has added another quarterback to the roster. Will Drakeford said he's picked Kentucky. He'll be a preferred walk-on. He chose that route over offers from Stony Brook, Towson, Merrimack, other small colleges. 6'2", 195. They're sort of betting on the come here for Will Stein. Drakeford makes 7 quarterbacks now on Kentucky's roster under OC and quarterbacks coach Joe Sloan.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
2028 linebacker Tyseer Young has picked Kalen DeBose and the Alabama Crimson Tide. He'll play his college ball in Bryant-Dennehy Stadium. That is until he leaves after a year because he's not playing. He's a Delaware the top prospect in Delaware, because when you're the Alabama coach, you go get the top prospect out of Delaware because that's where they breed elite-level college football players ready for the SEC. So congrats to Kalen DeBose. They're up to 7 commits for 2028.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Kicker Ben Brewer has picked Vandy. He's a 2027 kicker. He's a 5-star, according to Cole's Kicking. The national recruiting services don't give out rankings or ratings to kickers, but so most rely on Cole's Kicking. A Brewer's from Tennessee, 6'1", 190. Also had an offer from Colgate. Vandy's got 17 commits for 2027.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Laughing at. You need an offer from toothpaste. It's Vandy or toothpaste.
Exactly. I mean, what do you want to do?
I want to go to Vandy.
There you go. That's what
Nashville's
he's
great.
doing. Yeah.
Love going to Nashville.
Great city.
Broadway.
Awesome.
Got an NFL stadium there.
They do.
Hockey team as well.
Brand new NFL stadium
Brand new
there.
NFL stadium coming. I mean, Vandy Stadium is gorgeous. I was there last year. They put condos in the end zone.
They
It was
did.
so great. You want to hit the thing again?
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
They're putting LED and lasers and audio stuff in there in the stadium. Remember they used to call it Reynolds Razorback Stadium? They're not calling it that anymore.
Really?
Hey, we talked about this. Yeah, they sold the naming rights to the stadium.
I think I might have been out. I don't remember that.
Maybe, yeah.
No.
And so then we looked up who Donald W. Reynolds was, but I forgot who he was. But anyway, apparently, like the Reynolds Foundation or something had a deal where it would be named Reynolds Razorback until a certain time, and that's expired. So now they went and sold it. Still kind of sucks. Feel bad for that guy.
Yeah, man.
You're out. It's an old dead guy. What? He is.
Oh, yeah. It's like,
Well, now we can go sell it.
like he won't know.
Thanks, old dead guy. Respect, though, to the Reynolds family. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Monday shows are presented by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, shutters, and shades. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Coming out of SEC Football Media Days, Nick Saban was a guest on the McAfee Show and talked about Lane Kiffin and year one expectations. We're going to get to that in 15 minutes right after SportsCenter. When we come back, though, there's two stories that sort of dovetail into each other. That is a great way to piggyback what we just talked about with Urban Meyer. One is, have you seen Ward Manuel's exit package at the University of Michigan? We'll dive into that in a second. And also, Stanford players are trying to unionize. I don't want to bore you with this topic, but it is massively significant. If it goes through, we'll tell you why next at CFR.
After further review.
We have a precious handful of Saturdays remaining before our football season is upon us. Now, look, we're all ready for football, but for us, and football Saturdays are work. And so got to enjoy these last few weekends. So Saturday, Sunday, spent the whole weekend out back in the pool with Erica and Drew. Man, we just floated around, lounged around, listened to music, watched some sports on TV. And those are the best days, man. But it's possible because you have that pool in your backyard. If you've ever dreamed of that, having your outdoor oasis, your backyard paradise, I'm telling you, it's possible, it's affordable, and you want to start with Duplessis Pools. DuplessisPools.com, DuplessisPools.com. Their pools start at under $48K. Financing options are available. Think of that. I mean, some of you pay more than that for a car. They have financing options available, and they can build any size, style, custom pool you want. But make that dream a reality and start today at DuplessisPools.com.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
Raising Cane's is honoring Chuck Norris on National Chicken Finger Day. For every box combo sold on July 27th, Cane's is donating $1 to Chuck's Foundation, Kickstart Kids.
Want to play baseball or softball like the pros? Then join me this Thursday at Marucci's Hitter's House on Segan. We'll be broadcasting AFR live, so come take some hacks in the cages and meet our friends over at Marucci, the official bat of Major League Baseball at Marucci's Hitter's House.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FML Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Wrapping up hour number one. So, Ward Manuel from New Orleans, shout out, is the athletic director at Michigan, but not for long. He will resign at the end of the year. So there was a Freedom of Information Act record request to get the documents obtained by the Associated Press here on Monday, which will be basically the exit agreement for Ward Manuel. So we all know what happened with Michigan and Coach Sharon Moore. There was an internal investigation. As part of that internal investigation, Ward Manuel, not a good reflection on him. So they're like, all right, you're out. He doesn't want to leave, but he is. So as part of this agreement, he is going to step down officially on his personnel record. It will reflect a resignation, and part of his exit will be a lump sum payment of $7.14 million. Yo. Also, he will get former athletic director perks. He'll be eligible for tickets to Michigan games. He'll have golf privileges, because of course you will. University will also make a $108,000 contribution to his retirement account. And they'll pay his attorney fees, $82,000. Y'all wonder why players want to be paid? Not this exclusively, but it's stories like this. Like, this is the problem with college football and college athletics. The best, I've said it before, but the best line was Trev Albert, who said, college football, college sports does not have a revenue problem. It has a spending problem. And this is evidence. Adults can be bad at their job. Almost, in some senses, literally criminally bad at their job. And get paid gross sums of money not to work. And get golf privileges and have your attorney's fees paid for, and a $108,000 contribution to his retirement account. Ward Manuel at the University of Michigan, who oversaw a scandal there with the head coach, Sharon Moore, because they were covering up, well, what's been alleged. You all know what's been alleged. Like, these are the kinds of stories that drove us to this point in college football. It's not the kids being greedy. It's this. It's the adults who saw an opportunity to build a annual multi-billion-dollar industry on the backs of free labor. And the labor finally said, wait, that guy gets Michigan in a scandal with the tries to cover a scandal with the head coach, and y'all are going to give him $7 million to go away? Oh, and golf privileges and tickets and $108,000 to his retirement, and you're going to pay his attorney fees. And we can't put cream cheese on a bagel? Y'all been pointing a finger at the wrong place the whole time. Which is why it's interesting that today also, and maybe it took really smart kids at Stanford, The Stanford players have taken the initial step toward unionization. They've established the first active player-led chapter of the College Football Players Association. This is not formally unionizing, and it's worth noting the courts have regularly rejected any opportunity for student athletes to unionize. And you may push against you. Look, unions at one point in our country had their day. This isn't a union conversation. All that to say, in professional sports, they're player unions, and that's how you have collectively bargained agreements. And we may be headed there. I think we eventually will be headed there in college sports one day, whenever college football and basketball would break away and just operate independently as their own thing. Football, for sure. But Stanford, their players joining this push for collective bargaining. Maybe it takes really smart guys at Stanford to get this thing done. But then again, Northwestern tried, and they got rejected. So something worth following. All right, it's after further review. From the ancillary to the on-field stuff. Nick Saban was a guest on the Pat McAfee Show, and coming off the heels of SEC Football Media Days, the GOAT talked to McAfee about his protege, Lane Kiffin, and the year one expectations. You're going to hear that when we come back to kick off hour number 2 right after SportsCenter. Remember, you can email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Bill Bender in 20 minutes to talk some Big Ten Media Days. We got a ton to do, and glad you're here. It's AFR.
After further review.
Love telling you about our friends over at Parish Restoration. When it rains almost every day, like it does here in the summer, and you have the combination of humidity, heat, humidity, and water, that's a breeding ground for mold. If you have mold or think you might, Parish Restoration is the answer. ParishRestoration.com, ParishRestoration.com, ParishRestoration.com. It's mold remediation done right the first time. It's an easy process. Jim Woodworth and his gang, they're awesome. They'll come, they'll spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. Again, it's a dry fog, so you don't have to worry about cutting sheetrock or pulling up carpet or damaging your furniture. It's a dry fog. It's non-toxic, so it's not going to harm your family, your pets, your plants, and it's patented. Nobody else can do it. So you want the best? You want Parish Restoration. It's affordable, and it's efficient. They can fog your house in half a day. ParishRestoration.com. Check them out online, ParishRestoration.com.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 five-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
At Parish, we take pride in building roofs that last. Because in Louisiana, toughness isn't just on the court, it's in your home too.
Parish Construction and Roofing. ParishBuilt.com.
At Parish, we take pride in building roofs that last. Because championships are built on commitment, not just on the floor or the court, but your home too.
Parish Construction and Roofing. ParishBuilt.com.
Are you ready for an internet experience that actually keeps up with you? Then you're ready to step into a new kind of reliability with Rev Fiber. When your internet works, the possibilities open up, and suddenly everything feels more connected, just the way it should be. Seamless enough to keep up with every swipe and every click, anywhere you are. So leave the buffering behind. 100% fiber, 0% runaround, where support is still personal. Rev Fiber. Visit revfiber.com.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Ed Benkin. The wife of Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy was shot Sunday night in her Virginia home. Police have charged the couple's 27-year-old son, Elijah. Mia Bieniemy is in stable condition, remains hospitalized. Eric Bieniemy has left the Chiefs camp, and Coach Andy Reid says there is no timetable for Bieniemy's return. One of the Chiefs' division rivals is the Raiders, who are rebuilding with rookie quarterback Fernando Mendoza, and he talked about his current quarterback competition with Kirk Cousins.
It's going to be competing with each other, not competing against each other. Competing with each other, pushing each other to be the best quarterback we can possibly be for the Las Vegas Raiders and to enable to them to win as many games as possible.
News from Colts camp, revealed on the Pat McAfee show. Quarterback Daniel Jones says he has been cleared to practice for the start of training camp. Meanwhile, Colts receiver Alec Pierce has been placed on the team's PUP list. North Carolina football general manager Michael Lombardi has been placed on paid administrative leave for the university. No decision for the school, no details given by the school. The decision sent from a human resources complaint. Baseball, top of the night, Rangers 7, Mariners 2.
If you run a small business, you've got to try Gusto. Get unlimited payroll runs and get your payroll taxes filed automatically. Offer health insurance, 401k, and more. Get started for free at gusto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Hey, Will.
Hey, bud.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Bill Bender of the Sporting News in 15 minutes from right now. He's at Big Ten Media Days, gets underway today. So we'll get a little preview. What are the big storylines there? Lance Moore will join us in a little more than an hour from right now. Lance Moore was out in San Diego with Drew Brees and Tyler Shuck and the Saints player-led workouts. Get a sense of what happened there. We'll preview camp with Lance Moore. Again, it's coming up a little more than an hour from right now. Nick Saban. I actually rode an elevator with Nick Saban at SEC Football Media Days. How about that? Who wants to touch me? Who wants to touch me?
So Nick Saban tomorrow at 4 o'clock? Is that what we're doing?
We're basically best friends.
Okay, yeah.
I actually just said good morning to him. You know the odd thing, though. And so I get on the elevator. There's like 2 other people. There was another conference going on. It was a sorority. Sorority was having their conference. You know, all the alums from the sorority. And there's these 2 ladies on the elevator, and then we stop, and Nick walks on, and he notices my badge, so he knows I'm there for SEC Media Days, right? Because he could see my lanyard, and he's like, I said, good morning. I didn't say coach. I just said good morning. Didn't say anything else to him. Didn't want to bother him. And the lady's like, what are y'all here for? And so he doesn't say anything. And so I go, well, it's SEC football media days. It's a college football sort of conference type deal. And she's like, oh, okay. And then another guy gets on the elevator, this older man carrying his luggage. Now he spotted Nick right away and went right in. And I'm like, oh man. But anyway, super cordial. Took everything in me not to be like, thank you for making my college years the best ever.
I know, right?
I mean, dog. I was a senior in 03. That's why I love that team the most. First one in 45 years. Thought it would never happen. The one SEC championship. So many things came to mind that I just wanted to say, and I just didn't say any of them. But we rode an elevator, so we're basically Nick Saban, huge fan of the show.
Yeah, AFR karma for Nick. Here we go.
That's what happens. So Nick Saban was a guest on McAfee, and this is coming off of SEC Football Media Days, where we spend a week just diving into all the minutiae of the league, coaches, players, predictions, all of it. And they got around to talking about Lane Kiffin, who, of course, was on staff under Nick Saban at Alabama. And Nick kind of went into what is a realistic expectation for Lane Kiffin year one.
I think that Lane did really well in terms of roster management, bringing 59 new players in, very good recruiting class, but also a very good top-end bunch of guys out of the portal. They've got some really good players. Do they have enough depth on their team to be able to sustain the grind of playing the kind of schedule they have to play? And do they have the culture built to be able to do that? I don't think there's any doubt that Lane will be successful at LSU. I just don't know if it's realistic to think that turnaround is going to happen immediately. But I tell you what, Sam Leavitt, if that guy comes through at quarterback, I think they got enough pieces around on defense as well as on offense to really be a good team and be a contending team.
So there's a few things there, and listen, if Nick Saban says something, we're gonna talk about it, react to it, because he's the greatest ever. What I think I disagree with Nick Saban on, this is weird to say that out loud, because he's Nick Saban. Historically, he's correct to say it's hard to expect a turnaround in year one. Historically, that's true. That's just not true anymore. And I know everyone's going to point out Indiana because it's the most obvious example. You know the stat. There's no team in the history of college football that had lost more games in their football history than Indiana. Curt Cignetti comes in year one, he goes 11-1. Year two, he wins a national championship. That's the easy one. And the easiest one to point out. But you can also say, yeah, but that's an outlier. Cignetti was the right guy. And he was on Saban's tree, and he had the right thing. It's not everybody. And it's true that's not everybody. But it's also not just Indiana. Jerry Mack took over at Kennesaw State last year, and they went from last place in Conference USA to the Conference USA championship. They went from worst to first in 1 year at Kennesaw State. Jason Eck at New Mexico. They went 9-3. They missed the conference title game on a tiebreaker last year. So it's not just Indiana, and it's not just at the power level. In this era of college football, if you have the right protocols, if you have the right roster building philosophy and you hit, yeah, it can happen immediately. Now, Nick also mentioned he doesn't know if he'll have depth or culture year one. That's fair. My argument would be nobody has depth anymore. Nobody has proven depth anymore. Because the days of Nick Saban recruiting five-star class after five-star class after five-star class, and those guys staying, that doesn't happen anywhere anymore. Roster retention like that doesn't happen anywhere. At least not at the rate it did pre-NIL, pre-portal. So your depth has to come with who you bring in. And I would argue that nobody did a better job of that than Lane Kiffin, because they very intentionally went and signed guys in the portal. We've talked about them a ton here, who are proven college players that knew they weren't coming in and are going to be starters right away. Look on the offensive line. They added William Satterwhite from Tennessee. Who knew he wasn't coming in and beating out Braylon Moore? They added Darren Stray from Kentucky. Who knew he wasn't coming in and was going to be a starter right away? They added 9 scholarship wide receivers, guys who had played everywhere. from Roman Mothershed at Troy to Malik Elzy at Illinois to Jackson Harris at Hawaii to Winnie Watkins at Ole Miss. Go down the list. Trey Wilson, who was a former 5-star at Florida. They did add depth across, like all over the field because of how they very intentionally manipulated their portal class. But I do agree with him completely on the Sam Leavitt piece of it because that's been my contention all along. If Sam Leavitt is the Sam Leavitt we saw 2 years ago, and you complement him with a running game that we think will happen because that's just the priority Lane Kiffin focuses on, then yeah, I think LSU can be a playoff team and a real contender. If he's not, then I think a lot of those things that Nick Saban brings up about depth and culture and all that stuff could end up biting you. Now, he did also say, Saban did, he did also address, the point of expectations at LSU.
So whether you like the expectations or not, I think, look, me as a coach, people talk about expectations like they're a bad thing. You can coach at Kent State where I played and they have no expectations, or you can be at LSU or Alabama where they have high expectations. I'd rather be in those briar patches where they have high expectations. And, internally, you're going to do the best you can and put more pressure on yourself to try to make your team as good as you can make it because you want to win just like the players want to win, just like the fans want to win.
Nick Saban, thoughts on the McAfee show, talking about Kiffin year one at LSU. Tigers were picked by the media 5th last week in the preseason poll. Told you mine, I had them 4th in the conference. Interestingly, was on the Chuck Oliver show earlier today, and Chuck disclosed that he picked LSU 2nd to make the SEC championship game year one under Lane Kiffin. I think it's certainly possible. Look, I could even point out Brian Kelly, which I know a lot of people don't want to give a hat tip, but he came in to a terrible situation after the final 2 years under Ed Ogeron, and in year one, they won 10 games and won the SEC West. It can happen, but what happened? He hit in the portal on Jaden Daniels. You hit, and on a lot of those defensive players as well that came in. Mekhi Gardner, Jark Bernard Converse, Greg Brooks, Joe Fuchsia. There's a lot of those guys that they hit on. And so it allowed that transition to happen very quickly. Now the onus is on Lane Kiffin. Lord knows they spent on it. All right, it's after further review. Hey, we're brought to you by Evamore, E-V-A-M-O-R, Evamore.com, Evamore.com. Natural artesian water. Got my Evamore with me every single day. So they got 20-ounce, 32-ounce, and 64-ounce bottles. I love to buy the 4-packs of the 64-ounce, and I drink 2 of those 64-ounce bottles a day. You want a healthier alternative? Listen, you can even go read a lot of they can't make medical claims, but go to Google, read the Google reviews, and you'll see a lot of the things that consumers say have helped them in their overall health by drinking natural artesian water. Get the junk out of your life. Do something healthier for yourself or your family. Evamore, E-V-A-M-O-R. Great local retailers and online at evamore.com, E-V-A-M-O-R, evamore.com. All right, SEC Media Days was last week. This week, the Big Ten takes the stage. Bill Bender will join us next. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
And Friday, after the show ended, I go home, and I get a text from Darren James. And he's at one of the casinos downtown. And it's a video of Darren with a couple of guys at a Scone. Saw these 2 guys. They saw my shirt. He had an Agent 225 shirt on. Said, man, we hear you every day on Scone's show. And so I sent a video. Point is, telling you about that, Darren is so intentional with the way that he delivers customer service, the way that he's so engaging. He says often, his goal is to put himself out of business. He wants to deliver such an exceptional customer service experience and make the home buying and selling process so easy and turnkey that you don't even need a realtor. But in the meantime, if you do, you want a guy that's going to work harder and has more results and better results and skins on the wall than anybody else. You want Darren James. Agent225.com, agent225.com. Call Darren James. Get your home sold.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Raising Cane's is raising $1 million on National Chicken Finger Day for Chuck's charity, Kickstart Kids. Join us July 27th and help us continue Chuck Norris's legacy.
Chuck was a personal friend of Todd and the brand, and I know this would have meant the world to him. At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 2025 Jeep Wrangler with $18,000 off MSRP.
$18,000 off Jeep Wrangler plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Community sailing is all about getting people in the New Orleans area out on boats, out on Lake Pontchartrain. Gulf Coast Bank helps us provide opportunities to get folks out who might not otherwise have the financial means to come sailing. Auctions in August is an online fundraiser that helps nonprofits like us service the community. Bidding through Auctions in August is a lot of fun because there's so many different items. There's something for everyone, so you're sure to find something that relates directly to you that you'll enjoy bidding on, and you get to help out the community.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute.
Better coverage for less money. I say it every day. If you're a business owner, doctors, dentists, anything medical, law offices, accountants, CPAs, financial advisors, real estate offices, any professional office, restaurants, architects, engineers, every type of business, jewelry stores, bars, convenience stores, hardware stores, garden centers, every type of business has business insurance. Are you overpaying? Are you properly insured? Let Insurance Network of Louisiana shop independently for free to see if they can find you better coverage for less money. What if you could save money every month, improving your bottom line because you're paying less on insurance? You won't know until you let Insurance Network of Louisiana shop independently for free. 293-0450, 293-0450, 293-0450, or online at lainsurance.net.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
SEC last week, Big Ten this week. Bill Bender, good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Hey, Bill, thanks for the time, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, Matt. Thanks for having me on.
It's our pleasure, man. We always appreciate you for making time. I would assume Indiana, can they repeat the success again, would be the biggest storyline. Am I on target there, or is something else going to dominate headlines this week?
Well, I'm sure Tony Petitti and, the Big Ten and this back and forth with the SEC over the control of college football will be one of the storylines. But, yeah, I mean, that's the stunning part to me is Kurt Signetti is the main character at Big Ten Media Day. You'd have told me that 3 years ago when I saw him first take the podium and get mad about being picked 17th. And now here they are, the national champs. And, I do think he's the main character, and it'll be interesting to see what he has to say.
Candidly, I know they got Hoover from TCU at quarterback. I'm not sure I know a ton else about their roster. Have they done enough this year, Bill, to be considered a contender again?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, they've got Nick Marsh from Michigan State. Charlie Becker's back. I think they have the right mix of pieces back from last year. And they had a ton of guys drafted, along with the guys they brought in from the portal. So, Turbo Richard comes in, and their running back committee should be really good. I think Hoover's obviously the key in getting a lot of notoriety. Carter Smith's back, an All-American caliber tackle. Defensively, they've got the middles back. The interior defense with Tucker and Landino. They're Elijah Hardy, Isaiah Jones. I like that if you're strong up the middle, that works out in any sport. And I don't know, they're not going to go 16-0 again, I don't think, but it doesn't mean that they're not going to contend for Big Ten championship and college football playoff, those kind of things.
We'll also be reintroduced to Matt Campbell and Kyle Whittingham at their new spots, Penn State and Michigan, respectively. Anything, Bill, from either of those guys you're maybe interested in hearing this week?
I think Matt Campbell just, I think it's tribute to his coaching style that so many players from Iowa State were going to follow him. Their schedule's really going to be a talking point because they don't play. The difference between Whittingham and Campbell this year is one of those guys plays Ohio State, Oregon, and Indiana, and the other guy doesn't. So, for Penn State, it's set up that they ought to be in the mix a little bit right away. And then, for Michigan and Kyle Whittingham, I think, unfortunately, he's going to have to answer a lot of questions about an athletic department and coaches and things that happened when he wasn't there. He'll handle it, I'm sure. But, Michigan just continually, it's like a summer tradition, unfortunately, for that school, that they're in the news for the wrong reasons, it seems like, every year this time of year.
Bill Bender is with us. So on Tuesday, Indiana will be the headliner kicking off, but Ohio State will also take their turn in Ryan Day. I mean, they're a perennial contender. What should we know about the Buckeyes here as we move through talking season and get closer to kickoff?
Their offense will be scary with Julian Sayin and Jeremiah Smith and Chris Henry Jr., impact freshman right away. Bo Jackson, offensive line should be solid. The question for me is defense. Anytime they had the 11 starters from that national championship team 2 years ago, all of them were drafted. But none of them are there now, right? So I think you've got to wonder, who's going to step up on that side of the ball. It is, in my estimation, I've been around Ohio State football for a very long time, it's the toughest schedule I've ever seen for them. When you're playing Texas, Indiana, USC, Michigan, Oregon, just constant. It's going to be a really tough schedule. They go to Iowa, and you guys can laugh at that down there. But anytime you have to go to Iowa, it's like, I don't know what the SEC equivalent is of a tough spot to play in is, but that's always at Iowa.
We've seen it plenty. I mean, Kinnick, we saw the game a couple of years ago when Iowa blew the doors off of Ohio State there at right. Kinnick. So it could certainly happen. Is there a stretch on – we're looking at the Ohio State schedule right now. When you look at the schedule, is there like a make or break stretch that – I know what I'm looking at, but I'm curious what you think. A make or break stretch on that schedule?
No, at the end when they play Oregon and Michigan, I don't know where they'll be at that point. I know the Texas game. I actually think the Texas game is the tone setter for the whole thing, much like it was last year, because they're playing down there. And I'm old enough to remember when they went down there, they had the home and home with them in 05 and 06. They lose to Vince Young. They turn around the next year, and they went down to Texas and beat a Colt McCoy team, and it set them up for an undefeated regular season. So I like that game as a flashpoint game. You can tell me, where do you think the make or break stretch is? They just play so many good teams.
It's on the road at Indiana, October 17th. Then they get the open date. Then they go at Southern Cal, home against Oregon. That three right there. It's 3 and 4 weeks, but 2 of them on the road. You do have the open date in the middle. Bill, I don't know if you agree, but the committee is not rewarded a 3-loss team. So if they lose at Texas, you have very little margin for error after that. You really only have one game to play with, and that 3 games in 4 weeks right there could be the one that defines if they're a playoff team or not.
Well, you know what? You're writing a column for me right now because I'm just thinking about the scenario that Ohio State goes 9-3 and loses to Texas, and it's kind of the same thing as last year.
Yep.
I can guarantee you it'll be a lot louder up here, though. Even as much as Texas was making noise last year, and I thought they had a really good case. I agreed with, had they not played Ohio State, I think they would have been in.
Sure.
Because I think they would have been in over Oklahoma because they beat Oklahoma. Or another wrinkle to that is, had they had a 9th SEC conference game last year, I think they might have got in. So it's one of those things where Ohio State will make that argument, and I have enough friends that will make that argument very, very loudly and not care what anybody thinks around them.
Bill, I want to come back to the 9th league game thing, so I'll get a thought on that in a second, but a few more I want to ask about. It's interesting. We've been talking now about 7 minutes or so, and I haven't brought up Oregon yet. They get the quarterback returning. They seem like a perennial contender. Is this rinse and repeat this year for Dan Lanning in Oregon?
Well, I think Amari Washington and several players on that defense are returning. Mateo Uiagalelei with Dante Moore. They were one, as we were putting together our Sporting News Preview magazine, and I was writing the preview for Oregon, I just kept saying to myself, man, that guy's back too. That guy, wow, they've got a really talented roster, and we probably should be talking about them a little bit more. But some of that is tempered by what we've seen in the playoffs the last 2 years. And that happens in the NFL. It's going to happen in college football. We saw them get blown out by Indiana, blown out by Ohio State, and the schedule's reasonably tough. So I think it puts a little bit of pressure on Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning's in that class of best coach without a national championship. He's in the conversation. Guys like Sark and Lane and him and Marcus Freeman. But they've got to go out and do it. And this is as good a year as any for them to have that opportunity as one of the three teams that should be in the top 5 in the Big Ten.
What team are we maybe not talking enough about?
Well, I mean, we talked about Penn State, Michigan, USC. I mean, obviously it's a pressure-packed year for Lincoln Riley trying to get them in the playoff. Maybe Iowa, which is, you know, I hate to keep harping on it. Their schedule's reasonable. They find a way. The fact that they find a way to win 9 games without a pass offense is amazing, and they'll probably get around that. I don't know how they do it, other than that their defense is amazing. Washington could be the answer to that. Damon Williams, and you know, I know there was some doubt that he was coming back, but he's back, and they've got a talented roster. They recruited very well. So maybe that answer would be for the next season, because I think they're reaping the benefits of being in this Big Ten, where those West Coast schools, Oregon, Washington, USC, and I think UCLA soon, are all going to recruit a little better as a result.
At Bill Bender 92, if you want to give him a follow on X, at Bill Bender 92, you can read him over the Sporting News. Okay, I want to wrap with a thought on the 9-game schedule. I know the Big Ten has had the 9-game schedule, but they don't have the Power 4 mandate. This was a giant conversation last week down in Tampa, Bill, with the SC going to the 9th game, but still having the Power 4 mandate. An opinion on how you think the committee views the extra league game for the SEC, or what you're saying there with the Big Ten having a 9th league game already?
Well, I think the committee needs to be willing to let the 9-3 team in. And if the SEC is going to have that 9th conference game and the schedule matches, like, for example, Florida the last 2 years, and I know they didn't get there. Had Florida got to 9-3 either of the last 2 years, I'd have been all about them being in the playoffs. Because of it, last year in particular, their schedule was just absolutely brutal. So I think the committee needs to be willing to do that. I think SEC fans are going to find that the 9-game conference schedule is much more enjoyable. And I do think they're doing it the right way by playing at least one Power 4. That's how I would build a schedule as an AD. Play the 9 conference games, play one other Power 4 opponent, and then play 2 G6 schools. And you can have some of those regional games as a result. I know I'm a MAC grad, so I love seeing, you know, Ohio University play some Big Ten teams and occasionally, you know, try to beat one every once in a while. It's been a minute, but they'll do it again.
Bill, I would love to see a world where we only see, no disrespect to the Bobcats, where we only see Power 4, Power 4, but it's got to be unanimous scheduling. Like, no league is going to make that step without proof that they're going to be rewarded for doing that, or if there is some consistency, uniformity across scheduling. I would love to see the committee get there where they will reward a team for playing a tough schedule. We just haven't seen it yet. Maybe this will be the year.
I hope so. And then to your point, I wouldn't oppose 12 against Power 4 schools either. It would just make the games, the Saturdays, every one of them counts, right? Yes. We can't say every Saturday counts when you're watching games where it's 72-7.
Amen. Amen, Bill. You and I are speaking the same language. I feel like sometimes I'm fighting that battle myself. But it's going to be college football is almost here. We're about a month away. Talking season rolls on. The Big Ten's turn. Make sure you follow Bill at BillBender92, at BillBender92, and read his stuff over at the Sporting News. And then we always appreciate the perspective. Thanks for taking the time.
Hey, anytime. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much for having me.
Be well. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Football season is almost here. Everyone's competing to get the ring at the end of the season. Gents, if you're thinking of popping the question, getting down on one knee to present her with the ring forever, I was thinking of another like championship type pun, but whatever. If you want a beautiful ring, go to Lee Michaels. You want a beautiful diamond from the finest diamond mines in the world, natural diamonds, never a man-made or lab diamond in the case at Lee Michaels. Scott goes all over the world, goes to India on buying trips to buy the finest diamonds in the world to bring them right back here. Every diamond before it goes in the case, hand inspected by a family member. If you're thinking of popping the question, or maybe you got a special anniversary coming up, or for whatever you're trying to celebrate, thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Okay, it's after further review. Thanks to Bill Bender for hanging out with us there. It's so interesting when I asked him about a sleeper, and he really didn't have an answer, because I think this is the disparity we're seeing. I don't mean this is a knock to the Big Ten, because the Big Ten has won 3 straight championships. They figured it out. But I do think one of the big differences as you look to the depth of the leagues, and it's the SEC, the Big Ten, and then every big, enormous drop everybody else. We talked last week about there being 8 SEC teams that believe themselves to be legitimate playoff contenders. There are 8 teams that think they should be in the college football playoff. And it's the ones we talk about: Texas and Georgia, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, A&M, Bama, LSU, Tennessee. Those eight all think they're getting in the playoff. Well, the SEC ain't getting 8 in. So you're going to have some really disappointed fans. But the flip side of it is, when I ask them about the Big Ten, it's Indiana and Ohio State and Michigan, Penn State, because the schedule works out really in their favor, Oregon. After that, who's the sleeper? There really isn't an answer. Maybe Iowa, maybe Washington. I mean, it's just a dramatic difference. You're talking about an 18-team league where 13 teams don't have a realistic playoff expectation. Half of the SEC does. That's the difference between the leagues. But the top is indisputable right now. When 3 different Big Ten programs have won the last 3 national championships. See if the SEC can upset that apple cart this year. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here, halfway home on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows, official partner of LSU Athletics. Windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. Quick break. Saints hit the field for training camp tomorrow. Lance Moore's here in 45 minutes. But of all the 8 last-place teams from a season ago, who's got the best shot of going worst to first? We're talking about next on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Watermark and the Renaissance. Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Watermark, Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. Not me saying it, you said it. Best of 225, Watermark voted the best hotel in Baton Rouge. In a couple of weeks, on Saturday, August 15th, it's the Capitol Gala, the Best Dressed Ball downtown. Cannot wait for that event. Our buddy Mac Chiwilli from Traction is going to be one of the honorees there at Best Dressed. Maybe you're going to be downtown at Best Dressed, or for any event that you have going on downtown, always remember Watermark. Watermark's right there on the corner of 3rd and Convention. It's walking distance to the River Center. So if you're going to be downtown, don't drive or drive home. Just make a weekend out of it. All the great bars and restaurants downtown that are all walking distance, the great sites in downtown Baton Rouge. Explore downtown Baton Rouge and keep Watermark Baton Rouge right at the center of it. If you're having an event, no place better than Watermark Baton Rouge.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last, because in Louisiana, toughness isn't just on the court, it's in your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last, because championships are built on commitment, not just on the floor of the court, but your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season, and we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 five-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environment.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Stay in the game with LouisianaSports.net. Text LSN to 225-499-1045 for breaking news. Instant updates on LSU, the SEC, and everything happening across the sports world. It's free, by the way, at LouisianaSports.net. And while you're there, check out the Our Partners page. You can discover more about the local legends backing your favorite shows. It's the Our Partners page at LouisianaSports.net.
You just family'd it.
I very much so, yes.
Point I've said over and over for years.
That was tough.
I don't think he was faking the accent. I really don't. I think he just did what you just did.
Yeah.
And what the uniform designers at Nike did to the Bills uniform.
Oh.
Have you seen this?
Bro.
Oh, my
Good.
God.
Yes. Oh.
Whatever the physical representation is of that throw-up that Muse just did on himself verbally, that's the Bills uniform.
Yeah.
Pull that up, Paulie. This is called the Nickel City Combo. I didn't know this, but apparently there's like a Buffalo Nickel, which I've heard of, but the Buffalo Nickel was minted from 1913 to 1938. It featured a bison on one side, which makes, I don't know, the decision to remove the buffalo from the helmet.
Yeah.
Even dumber. Like, what is that? What is that? Just a red stripe around the back of the helmet?
With like a little indention in it. I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Like, seriously. Is that the tail? What is that supposed to be?
It's just a red stripe with an indention. The blue face mask is horrible too, by the way.
The whole thing is terrible. This is an absolute atrocity.
Yeah.
This looks like, I mean, it looks like everyone always says Arena League. I mean, this is XFL, UFL, like something where you're like, I know you're playing football because you have a helmet and shoulder pads on, but you don't look like anything. And that's bad.
And the Bills' uniform is so good.
I'm glad the Bills actually went to the white helmet, like their old school, the blue jersey, white pant. And I get throwbacks. It's just or alts. It's a way to sell more. I mean, I know what they're doing. I mean, it's just all it is it's an economic play. It's an opportunity to go sell an alternate uniform. It's why they all do it. It's why you see like the City Connect basketball uniforms with the stupid skeletons things that New Orleans does, and the city. What the city? What in baseball they call like City Edition?
City Edition. Yeah.
That's why like the Red Sox have the stupid yellow ones for the Boston Marathon. It's just stupid. Like, but it's something to sell. It's just another thing to sell. So because once you've bought your home and your away jersey, you got them. So what do? You give them a new product to buy. And this is terrible.
What's worse, the Bills' Nickel City uniforms or the Saints, air quotes, all gold?
Oh, the all gold. That
You think? Okay.
That was an absolute abomination. At least gray is like a muted thing that no one's going to be offended by an all gray
Fair.
thing. The gold thing that the Saints did was, I mean, that looks like something you see in the toilet after a night of bad food. You're like, what is that color? That's the Saints uniform. Terrible. Nickel City. Look, I'm not just a total old curmudgeon. I mean, I do believe I've said this often, if you have an iconic look, stick with your iconic look. It's why, like, you don't ever see Michigan. Like, Michigan wears the winged helmet because when you see the winged helmet, you know what you're looking at. Brand, it matters. Like, can you imagine McDonald's getting rid of the golden arches? No, you don't even need the word McDonald's. You see the golden arches, you know exactly what it is. Nike swoosh, you don't even need the word. You know what the logo is. Like, it's one of the things I always yell about with LSU. Your gold, white, gold is your iconic look. If you go white helmets, purple jerseys, white pants, you may aesthetically think that looks okay, but what if someone's watching, they go, oh, is that TCU? Oh, that's LSU. Like, I never want that to happen ever. I want people to put on an LSU game and know what they're looking at. So if you have an iconic look, stick with it. Now, I don't think the Bills have an iconic look. They have a nice-looking uniform. What they've gone to now, it's a nice-looking uniform. I wouldn't say the Bills' uniform is iconic. The Packers, the Cowboys, the Steelers, the Raiders, those are iconic looks. So I'm not opposed to the Bills doing something different if they want. This is just a really bad choice. That's my point. Oregon wants to do 10 million uniforms because that's your thing? Because Oregon does not have an iconic look. So if your thing is you wear 10 million uniforms, then go. They built a great brand around that. Go do it. Were you were going to disagree on the iconic look?
I was, but then when you started naming the teams, it made sense to what direction you were going. That's so I was just like,
you look at the star on the helmet, you know what you're looking at,
Yeah.
no matter where you are in the world. The Raiders, silver and black, you know what you're looking at, no matter where you are in the world. The Packers, you know what that is. The Steelers, the logo on one side, the black helmet, like, you know what you're looking at. Don't mess up an iconic thing. The Bills are not iconic. We've seen the most Bills highlights because the dude that murdered two people, they've shown his highlights when talking about the fact that he murdered two people.
Hey, Twitter. Oh, no, not Twitter. Hey, X world.
The absolute worst. Rest in hell. All right, it's after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Location. Oh, I got it. Awesome message. It was on Morning Scone yesterday. I need to go find it. There's a gentleman who commented, said, Matt, needed tires, went to Shaw Bills. Thank you. I'm a customer for life. And it's exactly what I say all the time. When you got to buy tires, you're going to go there because they're the cheapest. Like, they're going to give you, and not selling you like discount tires, they're selling you the best tires at the cheapest price. That's not how they build their economy. Their brand and their business is built on the fact that they are going to create a lifetime value. They're going to give you tires really, really cheap, but they're going to treat you so amazing that when you need an oil change or your tires are rattling, you need an alignment, whatever it is, you're going to go to Shaw Bills. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills. We keep you rolling. This was interesting. I don't know that we necessarily need this list because we have odds makers that took care of this for us. But CBS Sports put out, just for the sake of conversation, this was John Breach, the best chances of going worst to first in the NFL. So the 8 teams that finished last place last year: Jets, Browns, Titans, Raiders, Giants, Lions, Saints, Cardinals. The odds of going worst to first, and they had Cardinals at worst, obviously with the lowest percentage chance. By the way, the Cardinals are plus 10,000 to win the NFC West.
But how?
It's an NFL team, bro. It's the National Football League. Any given Sunday, they're plus 10,000, not to win the Super Bowl, plus 10,000 to win their division.
That didn't make any sense. They just extended Jacoby Brissett. I mean, come on.
It's actually a smart thing that they did. Like restructuring him the way they did, the 1-year deal and the money. It made sense what they did. I get what they did. I'm not buying them. Don't misunderstand me.
This
But
guy's got the ticket. It's plus 10,000. He's betting it.
Plus 10,000. You're going to tell me it's not worth a flyer to hold the ticket?
Just a flyer.
This is a little Bruce Marshall picking Kentucky to win the SEC play.
Indiana did it.
Indiana did it. Will Stein stepped up and said, "Google me," effectively. So just for context, so the Jets, so Arizona, they have plus 10,000. The Jets are plus 1,900. And the Jets are awful.
I was about to say the Jets are a train wreck.
And you got 5 times better odds the Jets win in their division than the Cardinals. Goes to show you, like condolences to whoever is, condolences Arch Manning, you're going to be in Arizona. Now, Glendale's gorgeous. So not condolences for that. Golf, beautiful weather was there just a few months ago, but playing for the Cardinals, condolences. Yeah, what were you going to say?
No, I was saying the Jets are a train wreck. The Jets didn't have one interception last year. Remember that?
Yes, and their head coach is a former defensive back coach and defensive coordinator. Apparently players matter. By the way, so the top 2, by the way, they have the Lions second and the Saints with the best chance of going worst to first. This is according, again, to CBS Sports' list. The Saints were 6-11. They're at plus 265 to win the NFC South. And they note that it's a surprise the Lions are not at the top of the list, basically because they have the second easiest strength of schedule, and they're in the most winnable division. Excuse me. Now, what is worth noting is that that's just the CBS Sports list. The odds have the Saints plus 265, which is the second best odds in the division behind Tampa. But the Lions are plus 180. So by an odds perspective, the Lions at plus 180 have the best, like the Giants are plus 600. The Jets are plus 1,900. Titans plus 800. I'm just looking at the odds here. Browns at plus 2,100. Raiders at plus 2,000. The Cardinals at plus 10,000. Plus 10,000. I mean, I get it. Like the Rams and the Niners and the Seahawks. I get it. But the Lions were the best team in football 2 years ago. They went from first to last place. Like, it can happen. It's the NFL. Plus 10,000. It's worth holding the ticket. Anyway, but the point being, the odds makers have the Lions as the most likely to go worst to first. The Saints are second behind them. This is a list that actually picks the Saints, and it's the reason that I agree. It's my contention on the Saints is the New Orleans Saints this year are not contenders. This is not a team that is going to be a Super Bowl or championship contender. I do not believe so anyway. What I do think is the ceiling for this Saints team. Tyler Shuck gets better. You gave him good weapons. You fortified your offensive line. You had a top 10 defense in the NFL last year, which is what we all forget. This was a top 10 defense in the NFL last year. They were 9th in the NFL in total defense. Or is that enough against the second easiest strength of schedule in the league to go 9-8 and win a bad division? I think so. I think that's the ceiling. And man, you're division winner. You get a home game in the wild card round. I think it would be an incredible year 2 step for Kellen Moore if they can pull it off. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll wrap up hour number 2 with Tigers and the Pros. Lance Moore in 30 minutes. Don't move.
AFR.
We are brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Buy local, shop local, Clegg's Nursery. By the way, that Garden Center on Greenwell Springs, that is the largest garden center in the state of Louisiana. It is an outdoor oasis. I mean, it is like a garden wonderland if you've never been. And if you're not familiar with where it is, I mean, it is right outside the city limits in Central. Like, if you're leaving Central coming in on Greenwell Springs, coming into downtown Baton Rouge, like you pass the sign that's like, welcome to Central, or thank you for visiting Central. I mean, it is immediately on the right. So, like, you can't miss it. But there's locations all over greater Baton Rouge. So if you want flowers or plants or trees or shrubs or soil or mulch or any of that stuff, tuned wind chimes, bird feeders, doormats, they got everything. All of your outdoor decor to beautify your outdoor spaces. Clegg's can help you. So, buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Raising Cane's is honoring Chuck Norris on National Chicken Finger Day. For every box combo sold on July 27th, Cane's is donating $1 to Chuck's Foundation, Kickstart Kids.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Amigo Owls is the latest concept from Brandon and Mackenzie Landry. Of course, walk-on small sliders, Supper Club, and now Amigo Owls. On Highway 30, if you're going down Highway 30, which of course is Nicholson, you pass U Club a quarter mile on the left, you'll see Amigo Owls. But if you're thinking, Matt, that sounds awesome, love Brandon, love Mackenzie, love what they've done, great restaurateurs, Amigo Owls, great quality ingredients from Mexican food, the margaritas, but that St. Gabriel's far. Got a great news. They're now on all the third-party delivery apps. So Uber Eats, DoorDash, have Amigo Owls delivered to your door. And even their fresh margaritas. The best tequila, the freshest juice. So it's not just sugar water. It's going to give you a headache the next day. It's Amigo Owls. Hey, it's Monday night. Instead of cooking tonight, punch up DoorDash, Uber Eats. Get Amigo Owls delivered to your door tonight. Amigo Owls, right there on Highway 30 in St. Gabriel.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and we do shutters too.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Thanks as always to Brandon and Adrian Holly over at Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, shutters, and shades. Relief Windows, proud partner of LSU Athletics. Amuso, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, we'll begin in minor league baseball, as a matter of fact. Cade Anderson and his boat. No. He went to St. Paul's.
Don't tell Haldane. Bring your fire.
Cade was awesome yet again. 5 innings. That was no hit ball, by the way. Shutout. Didn't walk anybody, punched out 7. He got the win, 9-1 with a 1.27 ERA for his efforts. Was named Texas League Pitcher of the Week. By the way, Cade Anderson, here in July, has walked 10 and struck out 115. What are we doing? What is this? This is professional baseball.
He's pitching against Southern in the midweek. Is basically what's happening.
It's AA ball.
Respect to Southern. How about this? He's pitching against Texas Southern in the midweek.
He's making a mockery of professional baseball. It's incredible. So good on you,
Call
Cade
him
Anderson.
Up, you coward!
Yes.
We're coming up on August.
Yes.
He needs to be an August call-up.
He does, 100%. Kevin Gausman did his his part, but the rest of the Blue Jays didn't. He threw 6 innings, just 3 runs, punched out 6 in a loss at Fenway on Sunday. Dylan Cruz, it's starting to happen here for Dylan Cruz.
Okay.
3 for 5, a double. The other 2 were singles. He did come around to score. 228 is the average, not great, but when you consider where Cruz has started, that's a really, really good improvement. Dylan Cruz's former LSU teammate, Tommy White, is just mauling Major League Baseball right now, dude.
So good.
2 for 4, scored twice. He's hitting .323.
Let's go.
So far.
Is he 7 games in? Or is it 8
I can look it up right now for you.
Go ahead.
8 games. 8 games for Tommy White. And Grant Taylor. We'll wrap with Grant Taylor. He threw a shutout inning of relief with a walk and 2 strikeouts in the White Sox 12-3 win over the Houston Astros. That is Tigers in the pros.
We're presented by the Williamson Eye Center, WilliamsonEye.com, Williamson, EYE.com. Hey, moms and dads, I want to remind you, of course, back to school is coming, and for many of you, you can't wait. Yes, get them back to school. But remember, before you send the kiddos back to school, make sure you get them their annual eye exam. You want to be able to see the board. You want them to be attentive, all that sort of stuff. Got to make sure, look, we do everything else we're supposed to, right? Like if it's all your other checkups that we're supposed to do, like make sure you're taking care of your eyes and your children as well. WilliamsonEye.com, WilliamsonEye.com. You want to see 2020, call 924-2020. They are a full-service optical shop, so they can do your eye exam. Of course, they can fill your contact or glasses prescription. And, of course, if you're thinking of ditching the contacts and glasses forever, they have many different refractive procedure options to help you get rid of the contacts and glasses forever. It's the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. Okay, it's after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here on this Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. Hope you had an awesome weekend. We got a ton to get to here in hour number 3. Lance Moore will be with us in 20 minutes. Lance Moore, former Saint great. We'll talk a little Saints camp, but also remember, Lance was out in San Diego for the player-led workouts with Drew Brees and Tyler Shuck and the receivers. Lance Moore was there. So I want some perspective on the guys in that receiver room. Tyler Shuck will do all that with Lance Moore, preview camp and everything that's coming up in 20 minutes. And Mark Wise, SEC Network basketball analyst, will be with us as well. The SEC announced the basketball schedule, so what are we looking at year 1 for Will Wade? We'll get to that next hour as well. Stick around. Sports Center's coming up. We just caught up on national headlines. Next, it's AFR.
AFR.
So fired up to have our friends at Hancock Whitney on board here at AFR. I'm fired up because sometimes there are natural synergies that make sense with a lot of these endorsements. Well, I've been a Hancock Whitney customer for as long as I've had a checking account. Hancock and Whitney merged years ago, and I've just stuck with them. I've been with Hancock Whitney forever. And as I moved around town, my branch has varied. Like when I was a student at LSU and I lived in Mid-City, the location on Government Street was the branch I went to now. Where we live now, the Highland and I-10 location is where I go, and they know me by name, and it makes banking and my financial situation so much easier when you walk in and they know your name, they know your financial situation. HancockWhitney.com, HancockWhitney.com/Matt, by the way. If you go to HancockWhitney.com/Matt, you can get up to $600 after opening Freestyle Checking and Freestyle Savings account. HancockWhitney.com/Matt. Minimum deposit, account opening balance, other requirements apply. Learn more at HancockWhitney.com/Matt. Member FDIC.
Community sailing is all about getting people in the New Orleans area out on boats, out on Lake Pontchartrain. Gulf Coast Bank helps us provide opportunities to get folks out who might not otherwise have the financial means to come sailing. Auctions in August is an online fundraiser that helps nonprofits like us service the community. Bidding through Auctions in August is a lot of fun because there's so many different items. There's something for everyone, so you're sure to find something that relates directly to you that you'll enjoy bidding on, and you get to help out the community.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season, and we need a healthcare team
that works as hard as we do.
At FML Health, our Lay of the Lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Who bears the standard?
Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Ed Bank, and we start with breaking news from baseball. Yankees outfielder Cody Bellinger will be out 4 to 6 weeks. Bellinger is dealing with a grade 2 hamstring strain and went on the injured list yesterday. Meanwhile, the Yankees open up a 4-game series with the White Sox tonight in Chicago. This afternoon, the Rangers stretch their lead in the American League West.
Kirby rocks and comes home, and there's a swing and a drive, well hit left center field. Rayleigh moving back, he's on the track, he's at the wall. That ball is history. It's in the Mariners bullpen.
That call from 105.3 The Fan as Texas beats Seattle 7-3, and that makes it a 2.5-game lead for the Rangers over the Mariners and Astros in the division. To football, Colts quarterback Daniel Jones said on the Pat McAfee show he has been cleared for practice at training camp. He is coming off an Achilles tear last December. Also, Colts receiver Alec Pierce has been placed on the team's PUP list. The wife of Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy was shot Sunday night in her Virginia home. Police have charged their 27-year-old son Elijah. Mia Bieniemy is in stable condition. She remains hospitalized. Eric Bieniemy has left Chiefs camp.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's rock!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows, proud partner of LSU Athletics. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt.
Shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. On Friday, we learned the projected or predicted order of finish from the SEC media. It's something that the media is asked to do every year at Media Days, which is to project a champion and the projected order of finish in the conference. And by and large, the media gets it dead wrong. Year in and year out, in the last 34 tries, the media has correctly predicted the champion just 10 times. And really, Nick Saban's Alabama squads were a big reason why the number was even that good. So, so there's a lot of conversation. Overwhelmingly, Texas, Georgia, Texas were at the top, and with good reason. I mean, those are two of the most talented teams, and certainly Georgia has a favorable schedule to get there, and they have the answer at quarterback, so there's no questions there. So naturally, it makes a lot of sense. What follows those two is what generated the most amount of conversation. I was a guest here on Monday on the Chuck Oliver Show, which, shout out, you heard Chuck following AFR from 6 to 8 weeknights. And Chuck's awesome. He does afternoons in Atlanta, does the Chuck Oliver Show, which is on 70 stations across the Southeast. He talks college football every day. And it surprised me because Chuck told me on his ballot he had Georgia and LSU. LSU is his number 2 team in the conference. He is a believer in Lane Kiffin, year one, the $50 million roster spend, etc. By the way, Nick Saban on the McAfee show today, number 3 Muse, believes that he's kind of in that camp that Lane's going to be really good at LSU.
I think Lane's going to do really, really well there. I think LSU is a tremendous job. They got a lot of good players in the state. Those players like to stay close to home. They love LSU. He's got a really good fan base. He's got a lot of support. I think the administration is aligned to help him be successful. And he's been successful everywhere he's been. Really. I mean, since he was at Alabama, we were successful, and he contributed to it. He went to Florida Atlantic or wherever. He had success there, turned it around, did a phenomenal job at Ole Miss, and I think there's more potential for success at LSU than any place he's ever been.
Okay, so there's a lot of people who are believing Lane's going to have success at LSU. I'm one of them, okay? The way I've said it is if you look at the next 5-year sample, Lane Kiffin at LSU, Pete Golding at Ole Miss, and those are going to be compared, right, wrong, or different, that like their paths will walk a parallel line, and we will compare what they do throughout the duration of their times there. I don't think this is going on a ledge. I think Lane will win more at LSU than Pete Golding will at Ole Miss. History tells us that's the case. I don't know what will happen this year, which is what I think is the most interesting part of this conversation, is if Lane can do it quickly, turnaround. And the schedule is, for me, number 2 after Leavitt's health. Leavitt's health, to me, is paramount. The schedule is the next thing. And you can look at a couple of spots on the schedule that are very obvious. It's at the end of September, where you go back-to-back weeks at Ole Miss, home against Texas A&M. I do think at Kentucky, at Auburn in October, are spots where you better have your head up. You should win those games on the road, but it's hard to win on the road in the SEC. And then you go to November, and we all know what awaits. Bama, Texas, at Tennessee, at Arkansas. Bama, Texas, tough games at home. 3rd consecutive week in conference, you got to go on the road to Tennessee, which who knows what they're going to look like come November with a new quarterback. And then you got Arkansas, so back-to-back road conference games to finish the schedule. That's one of the things LSU has working against it, is how tough that schedule is. I mean, in theory, let's say you split Ole Miss, Texas A&M, you split Bama, Texas. Well, you can't have a letdown against Kentucky or Auburn. You have to go on the road and win back-to-back road conference games to finish the season if you want to go 10-2 and get in the playoff. So that's what LSU's up against. I think it's so interesting when you look, though, at the other perceived contenders in the league and what their schedules play out. Like, one of the reasons Georgia is projected by everybody to win the league or at least be in that championship game is the schedule. They go Tennessee State, Western Kentucky, at Arkansas, so just 3 straight wins. Then they get Oklahoma at home. Then they get Vanderbilt at home in the first month of the season without Diego Pavia. And then they have to go to Tuscaloosa to take on Alabama, who they just skull-drug in the SEC championship game. Then they're at home against Auburn. Deep South's oldest rivalry, they get it at home. And then they have an open date. They should be undefeated. Tough game at home against Oklahoma. At Bama, I get it, but they should be undefeated. Open date, they get Florida in Atlanta this year. It's a virtual home game. They got to go to Ole Miss. So rivalry game against Florida, then at Ole Miss, which will be tough. And then they finish home against Missouri, at South Carolina, home against Georgia Tech. Like, if Georgia isn't minimum 10-2 and in the playoff, something went horrifically wrong this year. Like, something went otherworldly wrong. You look at Texas, we know they probably have the most talented roster, the most guys that are going to go into the NFL draft this year, all that stuff. But the schedule, we know Ohio State in week 2. So it's bookended by Texas State and UTSA. So Texas State, Ohio State, UTSA. So they get the layup before Ohio State and the breather after. But then it's at Tennessee, open date, home against Oklahoma. Or that's the Oklahoma in Dallas, excuse me. Oklahoma and Dallas. Florida, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. This is great news. They get back-to-back home games before they finish in November at Missouri, at LSU, Arkansas, at Texas A&M. And there's landmines everywhere. Ohio State, at Tennessee, home against Oklahoma, home against Ole Miss, at LSU, at A&M. There's landmines everywhere. But Texas is going to be favored in probably every game they play this year. So they should be there at the end. You look at a team like Ole Miss, why maybe are odds makers not as high on Ole Miss? The odds makers have Ole Miss 6th or 7th in the SEC, depending on where you place your bets. After Louisville, Charlotte to open, it's LSU, at Florida, early open date, by the way, at Vandy, Mizzou, at Texas, Auburn, Georgia, at Oklahoma, Wofford, Mississippi State to finish. I mean, LSU, at Florida, at Texas, Georgia, at Oklahoma. It's 5 games right there. You got to go 3-2 in those 5 and not trip up anywhere else to be a 10-2 football team. That's when most people look at Ole Miss and are like, yeah, I don't see it because of the schedule. The team I'll continue to tell you that I'm high on is Oklahoma. And nobody's schedule is easy in the SEC, and they do have to go at Michigan, but in week 2. But similar like we talked about with Texas, they have the hard game on the road. Well, Texas at home against Ohio State, but Oklahoma goes UTEP at Michigan, New Mexico. So you get the layup before and the breather after. And you got to go to Georgia. And you get an open date, and you got the game in Dallas against Texas. But if you can manage to get through that part of the schedule at 4-1, and that includes at Michigan, at Georgia, neutral site against Texas. If you can get through that at 4-1, which basically I think they need to beat Michigan and split against Georgia and Texas. If you do that and you're 4-1, you're home free. Kentucky, at Mississippi State, South Carolina, at Florida will be tough. You're home against Ole Miss, home against A&M, at Missouri. They'll be favored the rest of the way. So that's why I keep looking at Oklahoma. Hold the ticket on the Sooners this year. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. Hey, thanks to everybody who entered for our free fortified roof giveaway over at Parrish Construction and Roofing. Can't wait to announce the winners. 1 in New Orleans, 1 Baton Rouge. We'll do that this week. But listen, with the rain coming every single day, seemingly, if you got issues with your roof, noticing a water spot on your roof, we'd love to help you out. ParrishBuilt.com, ParrishBuilt.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing. That's me and Terrio and Tilly and Joe, our whole staff. And, of course, now our newest partner, Saints Hall of Fame quarterback Drew Brees, our newest partner at Parrish. And this is not a paid endorsement. Drew is an equity partner in our company. We approached him about it. We went through about 8 months of negotiations. He vetted everything and was proud to be a partner with us. And so we're thrilled to have Drew Brees on board with Parrish Construction and Roofing. Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com. ParrishBuilt.com. All right, it's After Further Review. Let's now got a quick break. Drew Brees' former teammate, Lance Moore, joins us next. Talk some Saints. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
Get Gordon. Get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You've been injured in an accident. It's not your fault. You know what to do. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. You can always go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Website's easy to use. You can see past client results. You can get in touch with the G team there as well. As a matter of fact, if you'd rather text than call, there's a chat bubble right there on the homepage. Right there on the bottom right, it'll pop up right in the bottom corner. Boom, you'll be chatting with an associate in seconds. But if you'd rather talk to someone, I get that. Get in a wreck, any type of accident, what are your options? It can be scary. Even maybe if you were in a wreck out of state. A lot of people traveling for vacations. If that's you and you're not sure what to do, call the G team. Get Gordon and get it done. Call 888-8888, 888-8888. Offices all over Louisiana, so no matter where you are, just dial 888-8888 or go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. You want Louisiana's best personal injury lawyer? You want Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. GetGordon.com, GetGordon.com. Get Gordon. Get it done.
Bayou Ford is taking $13,000 off MSRP on the new 2026 Ford F-150 trucks.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
People think it's all about game day. But the real work happens in the off season.
Spring practices, early lifts,
Extra reps. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
so we can do what we do best.
We trust the lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinecenterla.com.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
At Southern Classic Chicken, we take pride in serving the freshest, seasoned, and marinated hand-breaded fried chicken. It's so good, it's wrong. Choose from a variety of classic sides like our zesty Cajun seasoned fries, savory red beans and rice, or sweet corn grits. Drive through today and pick up a family box or one of our classic combos and enjoy a true Southern classic. Order online and download our loyalty app to start earning those crispy and juicy rewards. Loyalty matters.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Earlier this summer, New Orleans Saints quarterbacks, receivers, went a little player-led workout out in San Diego with the GOAT, Drew Brees, and Lance Moore was there as well. Former Saint, great, good enough to join us for a couple of minutes. Lance, we always appreciate it, man. How are you?
Doing well, enjoying this, 80-degree weather, sunny at my pool right now. It's summertime everywhere, right? But it's always summer in San Diego.
Why would you do that? Oh man, I don't know if you know, Lance, but this week is literally one of the hottest weeks on record. The air temps are going to get close to 100 with the heat index is supposed to approach 110 every day this week in Louisiana.
Yikes. No, thank you.
Oh, man. God. I can only think about those camps in Jackson that y'all were in with Sean. Everyone talks about his first one in 2006.
Yes.
You have nightmares about that?
You know what? I was going into my second season.
Yeah.
And was mostly practice squad guy and was even home early in the season. So I wasn't in a position to complain about the heat, the grind, and all the stuff that was as crazy as all the veterans said. They ended up calling us the Junction Boys because the vets were like, this is ridiculous. Like, somebody's going to die out here, and it's going to be the coach's fault. And for me, as a young guy, I was just like, I'm happy for this opportunity. I'll do whatever it takes to make this team.
I love it. The CBA in 2011 took care of a lot of that. But in the meantime, it looked beautiful in San Diego. Williams, if you wouldn't mind, just walk us through how did that all came together, the workouts out there?
Well, I mean, it was something that Drew used to do back in the day, right? Like he's lived out in San Diego in the offseason since he was a Charger, clearly. And so a lot of the years he'd have a group of the guys come out, and it wasn't just a throwing session, right? Like there's one of Drew's business partners and buddies named Todd Durkin owns a facility out here, so the guys get workouts, they get massages, they get the nutrition, they get all the recovery that they could ask for, and they go out and they get work in on the field. And I think Shuck, I don't know if he reached out to Drew or if Drew reached out to him, but somehow, some way, Shuck ended up working out with Todd Durkin this offseason. And so I think that's kind of the idea that Shuck got. Well, Drew used to do this, and it worked out well for them, so maybe I should invite my guys out. And like you said earlier, there was some sessions here last week, and I got a chance to get out there on the field with the guys. And, well, I guess it was 2 weeks ago now, but just the level of concentration, the level of work, and actually getting to see Tyler Shuck lead guys with no coaches around, kind of running the show. It was pretty special to be a part of, and I now understand what the Saints understood and thought when they drafted him in the second round last year.
Can we dig a little deeper there, Lance? Because that's, I think, the fascinating thing that most people are interested in. Like, the simple question is why, how, what did you see that led you to believe that?
Well, the thing that stood out the most was his leadership. Like, I was expecting to show up on the first day and Drew and Todd Durkin would be out there kind of running the show and Tyler's just kind of quarterbacking. It was like the complete opposite. Drew wasn't even there the first day because he was at a World Cup game. But Tyler literally ran the whole show, and he was coaching every position up and talking about the things that he wants to see and where they need to improve and all the adjustments off of certain things. Like, I was thoroughly impressed. And it's not just about talking in front of the guys or telling them what you want from them, but it's the response that I saw from the guys, the respect that he already has gotten from the guys. And I think that's a big part of the reason why the team was so successful with Tyler Shuck at the helm last year. Like, they like this guy, they respect this guy, and they see the potential in him. And now it's about putting the work in so that they can develop the chemistry and the camaraderie and the timing and all the things that you do in the off season leading into training camp. I see this as a unit that could be sneaky good this season.
Lance, if I ask you, and Lance Moore is our guest, the intangibles clearly are there. Physically, anything that you saw from Tyler Shuck that caught your eye?
He can spin it. I mean, it's one thing to see it on TV. It's one thing to see it on highlights and social media, but to see it in person, it's pretty impressive now. Like, you talk about arm strength a lot when it comes to quarterbacks, especially quarterbacks in the NFL. But to me, there's more to it than just how strong the guy's arm is. Like, is he accurate? Is his timing good? And it seems to me like Tyler Shuck has all three of those things. Doing it over and over again with his pass catchers is going to be what kind of propels them to the next level. But as far as the physical tools, I mean, he's got the size, he's got the athleticism. You couple that with the intangibles, like, he could be scary good.
Let me flip it and ask you about some of the pass catchers who were out there. See, Chris Olave was there, Jordan Tyson. A lot of people around here, of course, know Barry and Brown from his year at LSU. What or who maybe stood out to you among the pass catchers?
You know what? It's funny you ask, and you mentioned Chris Olave first. We all know how great of a player Chris Olave is, but to me, the thing that stood out most, like, he was the only true veteran receiver that was here. I could see, based on his reaction to the things that I was saying to him or the coaching points, that he's not satisfied. He wants to take coaching. He wants to keep getting better. And he understands, like most true pros do, that you're never, ever a finished product. And you're always trying to get better and improve. And I saw that from him each time out. And I really feel like he had his career year last year, but I think he's going to take another step this season. And part of that, to me, is obviously you got to stay healthy. But beyond that, I think a little bit more yards after the catch this season potentially, and really being a guy that can be counted on in big-time moments consistently. It's one thing to say, okay, this guy's got this many third-down conversions or this guy's got this many touchdowns, but having big-time moments, having a guy that you can just say, hey, we're going to our guy, I think that's what we're going to see more of this year from Chris Olave.
Lance Moore is with us for a couple more minutes, former Saint great. We're all looking to see if Olave can build off of last year. They obviously bring in a young guy in Jordan Tyson, actually 3 rookie draft picks at receiver. That's the most in since the 80s, since they had that many draft picks at receiver. Any of the rookies stand out? Like anything catch your eye?
Well, yeah, I mean they're all. Jordan Tyson was not here, so I'll let that cat out of the bag. Okay. But the other two guys, I mean Bryce Lance, a guy that's got so many tools physically. He's big, he's long, he can run. He's got great ball skills as far as tracking the ball down the field. But I think he's a little bit raw. I think this training camp is going to be huge for him to be able to get the type of coaching, the level of coaching that it's going to take for him to be a consistent guy on Sundays. I think the ability's there, but now he needs to get the coaching and kind of take the next step on the mental side of the game. He's going to be fine. Barryon Brown is a guy that's so interesting to me. He's freakishly athletic, can run, got great ball skills, got a great attitude and kind of personality, but it's like this dude is going to be so good in the return game. They're going to have to find ways to get him the ball on offense too, because he's so electric. And I could see him being a part of this offense. I don't think it's going to be a situation where he's only returning punts and kicks, because he's too dynamic with the ball in his hands.
Lance, you were, just one more if I could, you were obviously a part of a seismic transition in the organization. You were rookie in 2005, the Katrina year, as we mentioned, and then was the Peyton Breeze era all the way through the Super Bowl. Do you notice, even from afar, any similar characteristics with Kellen Moore taking over and trying to build, obviously not the Katrina situation, that's unique all in of itself. I'm just talking about building an organization and what it took to go from a team that wasn't winning to one that became a contender?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it just starts with the culture shift. A coach, especially a first-time coach, to be able to come in and kind of instill his culture, get a bunch of his own guys and his own philosophy pushed upon the guys, and the guys embracing it fully. That, to me, is the sign of a true head coach. Not to say that Dennis Allen wasn't trying to insert his culture, but as a part of, being part of Sean Payton's staff for so long, it's hard to create your own thing that's completely different. And it's hard to break away from something that you know so well and had so much success in. It's pretty cool to see the guys embrace that. The guys seem to genuinely love and care about one another. And that, to me, is like one of those things that isn't spoken about a lot. But the teams that spend time together, the teams that genuinely love and care for one another and like being around each other, are usually the teams that win.
He is Lance Moore, former New Orleans Saint. Great. Got an up-close view of the Saints out in San Diego a couple of weeks ago. Enjoy that 87 humidity-free, beautiful sunshine, the sandy white beaches. Go down to Del Mar ever? Hang out there?
Absolutely. Right, 15 minutes from my house.
Man, I tell you. Next year, we're doing the entire month of shows in July at Lance Moore's house. Going to Del Mar every day. He doesn't know.
I'm down.
Lance, we appreciate you always, man. Thank you so much for making a few minutes for us.
Yes, sir. Take care.
Be well. That's the great Lance Moore. We appreciate his time joining us here. It's after further review. We're brought about First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. We're getting near the fall, which means we're coming up on hunting season, and hear it so often from so many, and really every year. When you're on a lease, when you're hunting on someone else's property, you always just approach it differently. Sometimes you don't want to bag the big buck because you want to leave that for the property owner, whatever the case may be. You want to own your own piece of property, whether it's your own hunting property, your recreational property. Maybe it's 20 acres to build your family's dream home. They can help you do it at First South Farm Credit, because they've been helping Louisianians buy land since 1916. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. You're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. You can start with the Ultimate Recreational Land Buying Guide. It's a free resource right on the homepage at FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. Thanks again to Lance Moore for spending a couple of minutes with us. Love that conversation. I love to hear the validation from a guy who lived through the development and the evolution of the Saints organization from a perennial loser to a Super Bowl champion. And I love hearing all the things he said there about Tyler Shuck. Yeah, I was going to ask him if Jordan Tyson was there, because the photos, Jordan Tyson is not in the photos that Tyler Shuck posted. And like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. For any number of reasons he wasn't there, who knows? Maybe he'll give that explanation, but I don't think that's necessarily a negative. But it's great to hear the things about the other rookies as well, and a really talented receiver room there. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break, come back. When we come back, by the way, not talking a ton of basketball right now. We're on the Saints starting camp tomorrow and LSU starting camp next week. But the SEC did release the basketball schedule today. Mark Wise, SEC basketball analyst, he'll join us next, knock around a little bit, get a thought on Will Wade's first schedule. It's AFR.
After further review.
We were just talking with Lance Moore about the Heat, with the Heat indexes of 110. It's 5:30, and the air temp right now is 95 degrees. At 5:30 in the afternoon, it's 95 degrees. I mean, say it all the time. We can go inside and get out of the heat and the AC. That AC unit sits outside your home 24/7, 365. Never gets a break. Make sure you take care of that thing. And if you have any issues, if your AC isn't keeping up for whatever reason, call River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001. Remember, nights, holidays, weekends, they'll always come out. Nights, holidays, weekends. They won't charge you extra either. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, because the bottom line is, just because it's Saturday at noon doesn't mean you should have to wait until Monday to be comfortable in your home. River City's 1 Hour Air. They're just the best. Give them a buzz. 752-0001. Whether they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. Want to play baseball or softball like the pros? Then join me this Thursday at Marucci's Hitter's House on Seagan. We'll be broadcasting AFR live, so come take some hacks in the cages and meet our friends over at Marucci, the official bat of Major League Baseball at Marucci's Hitter's House.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last, because in Louisiana, toughness isn't just on the court, it's in your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last, because championships are built on commitment, not just on the floor of the court, but your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
The Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office protects and serves over 132,000 residents across the parish.
Keeping our community safe is our mission, and Rev Fiber plays a critical role in how we respond. Whether it's training in our special divisions, forensics investigations, or fielding emergency calls in our operations center, Rev Business connects our teams in real time, which is why we partner with Rev Business.
Get 6 months free of Rev Business services. Call or click today.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
At Southern Classic Chicken, we take pride in serving the freshest seasoned and marinated hand-breaded fried chicken. It's so good, it's wrong. Choose from a variety of classic sides like our zesty Cajun seasoned fries, savory red beans and rice, or sweet corn grits. Drive through today and pick up a family box or one of our classic combos and enjoy a true Southern classic. Order online and download our loyalty app to start earning those crispy and juicy rewards. Loyalty matters.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
Every Raising Cane's chicken finger is marinated, battered by hand, and cooked to order to perfection. We don't have heat lamps, because when you make it right, you can taste it.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Might be staring down the start of Saints training camp tomorrow and LSU next week, but SEC basketball dropped the schedule for this year, and of course, it is the maiden voyage of the Will Wade redo in Baton Rouge. Mark Wise, ESPN basketball analyst, going to have to jump aboard with us for a couple minutes. Mark, great to have you back, man. How are you?
I appreciate it, Matt. I always love talking hoops in the middle of July, and I'm like you. When the schedule dropped today, it's the first little jolt of a new season just around the corner, and now I'll be looking for the early season tournaments that will release their TV networks, and then the TV networks will figure out the rest of the season. So, yeah, this is kind of the first step, and it's kind of exciting.
Are you a football guy?
I am a football guy. Just don't tell any of my basketball ex-coaching friends.
Fair enough. Who's your team?
The Chicago Bears by marriage.
Okay, all right.
Cubs and Bears by marriage.
All right, fair enough. I can respect it if there's no native team. Okay, yeah. You see the schedule release. Your first reaction is what?
This is a continuation, and I'll draw your attention to it this way. I'll draw your attention to what the league did last year for the first time. The back half of the conference schedule was a concerted effort to highlight some marquee matchups on every Saturday. So that didn't happen by accident. So I went to the very last day of the season that was just released earlier, Saturday, March 6th. And on that day, Kentucky's at Florida, Texas is at Texas A&M, Tennessee's at Vandy, Bama's at Auburn. That kind of scheduling just didn't and does not happen by accident. There is a real concern, and I like it. I like it very much, that let's put, when the back half of the season, when the games matter the most, let's put the big-time teams and let them play each other.
On that day, March 6th, LSU is at Missouri, by the way.
I finished my season last year at LSU. At the 3 overtime game.
I remember.
And then, how about this? I did the Southland Conference tournament 3 days later and had another 3 overtime game.
Did you ever coach a 3 overtime game?
That's a great question. I don't think I did. Yeah. But some of the crew worked both of those games, you can imagine, Baton Rouge and Lake Charles. Guess what they thought the problem was?
You.
Yeah. Yeah, no question.
Hey,
was mud, man.
What is you mentioned the backloaded schedule on that final playing day. What does that mean for coaches?
Well, you want the truth serum or
give me the truth always.
Yeah,
yep.
every one of these coaches today, I promise you, are looking at their schedule and going, they will never admit it. Never, ever will they admit it. But they're looking at it and going, if we can get that one, that gives us 2 in a row going into that game on the road. And then after that, if we can get 3 of the next 4, now we're coming out of the first half. We're going to be okay. We're going to be 6-3, or we're going to be 5-4. They all do it. I understand. I've lived it. So one day at a time, the one game at a time. But they all look at that schedule and play around with it.
Mark Wise is our guest, ESPN college basketball analyst. Did you have a chance to look in advance of us talking? Did you have a chance to take a look at LSU's schedule?
A little bit. I'm always curious of who everybody plays twice. I think the league has done a good job of balancing out home and aways, or those single games at home, single games on the road. It's the teams that you play twice, and maybe you can get shortchanged some years. But I know LSU, I did look at theirs. I think they've got, if I'm not mistaken, they've got A&M, Auburn, and Arkansas. Mm-hmm. Auburn is a great unknown, replacing so many people. Arkansas is going to be, again, like Cal usually is, freshman heavy, and A&M with buckyball. My first sense is they're kind of middle of the road with a degree of difficulty with their 3 home and homes.
Okay. This may be an impossible question to answer right now, Mark, because we don't know who's on the roster. What do you think?
I knew you were going to ask me. Yeah.
I'm just curious. By the way, if you have an opinion on the roster construction as it's been presented, please, I'd love to hear that. My question, though, was going to be, what do you think is a realistic expectation?
Golly, Matt, you have to ask me after I know the roster.
Yeah, I get it.
It's just, I mean, if RJ doesn't get, if he's not part of the mix, that has to be a major ding.
Sure.
Now, trust me, I got all kinds of faith in Will Wade. I've seen it up close and personal at VCU. I've seen it at LSU. I've had the Southland the last couple of years, so I've seen it there. The dude can flat coach. But you've got to have players, and if in this day and age of roster construction, it's just hard to turn over. And when you turn over coaches, it can be a real difficult thing to do.
You think? Let's assume they get the guys we're talking about. Is that a tournament team?
You have to, again, Matt, I'm not dodging. You've seen me. You've had me on. You know I don't dodge questions.
Yeah.
But I have to see the other rosters.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not fair to say, yeah, they're a tournament team. I got to know what the other rosters look like.
So tell me if this is fair, because this is the way I think people here look at it. I'll get your reaction to this. If you make the type of financial investment LSU has in the roster, which we're all presuming Will's going to be able to land the plane on a lot of these international guys, that should be one of the best 68 rosters in the country, and so you should, or 72 now in the country, and you should hear your name called on Selection Sunday. Reasonable?
Not if you go 6-10 in a difficult league.
Yeah.
Or 6-12 or 18 league games.
Right,
so.
Right.
My math's a little off there. Sorry, you caught me in July.
I don't math either, but I knew what you meant. But it's like we saw. I mean, didn't we see Texas a few years ago win 6 league games and make the tournament?
No, I don't think so anymore. I just don't. I think that was a special one-time. If you went back to that, there were about 9 things that had to happen for all of that for all those teams to get in. And every one of the 9 happened.
Okay.
In the correct order.
Okay.
So if you want to get in, you better be 8-10.
Okay.
And below that is iffy. Now, again, I come back to this. I think the league. I know the league's going to be really good again. How good? I got to see the rosters. But I do know this, and you know me. I'm an offensive guy. I love me some offense. I talk to coaches. What do you have to do to win? We got to defend and rebound. Defend and rebound. No, you don't. You got to score.
Yeah.
You got to score first. You got to rebound second. Mix in enough defense. That's what Florida did to win the NCAA tournament. They weren't a great defensive team, not that team anyway, but they were good enough. And yet last year, I think there were 8 teams in Ken Palm's offensive efficiency in the top 20, but only 2 on the defensive side. So the league's got to get a little better on the defensive end.
Okay. All right, last thing for you. Mark Wise is our guest. I'm always fascinated by the non-conference schedule too, because it's a challenge at LSU, because typically you're not going to be able to schedule series with the blue bloods in college basketball. So sometimes you got to get creative. Well, I look at this and I go, okay, well, they're going to play Gonzaga in Spokane.
Yeah, love that game.
They're going to play the AccuSure series in Palm Springs. We don't know the opponents yet. They're going to play Wake Forest at home in the SEC ACC Challenge. They're going to go to Houston, play Houston in the Toyota Center. And they also got to have a home game against Washington State. What do you see when you look up and down that non-conference schedule? Because Will Wade always has he's always got a method to his madness.
Yeah, you better not overlook High Point. That's the first. When I looked at their schedule today, the non-conference schedule, everybody will point to the same games that you're pointing to. But man, High Point is dangerous. Their program, their facilities, their investment, certainly not at the mid-major level. I like this schedule. By the way, am I seeing this right? Is LSU playing 19 exhibition games?
No, it's 19, but they're going to play 3 of them.
See, I made you laugh.
Well done. You had me on my toes. I'm like, wait a minute. What did I miss?
No. I may drive over and see the FSU game because that's only a couple of hours for me. But I would love to be in Lake Charles for that first one on October 8th.
Yeah.
All right, I got a little sidetracked there. For this team, for any new coach, he's sprinkled in enough quality in the non-conference, in my opinion. I've always said if you want to evaluate non-conference schedules, the number one thing is you must play a road game, a true road game. And I don't know that there's. I guess the Gonzaga's in Spokane,
but it's not on campus.
But it's not on campus, and the Houston game's at the Toyota Center. But come on,
correct.
Come on, those are road games. So if you have road games, and you've got to, in my opinion, you've got to have a featured home game on the schedule for your fans. Maybe they got fortunate. You could argue whether you want to call Wake a feature game, but
right.
It's at least there. And the Washington State game. So again, there's enough there to like, in my opinion.
It'll be here before we know it. You mentioned October 8th, the exhibition against McNeese. I was supposed to be there doing my show that day, but LSU plays Kentucky in football that weekend, and I will be on a plane to Lexington on that Thursday instead of in Lake Charles. I'm bummed I'll miss it.
So you'll be in Lexington?
I'll be heading to Lexington for the football game that weekend, yes.
Okay, you do know that that's where I'm from.
Okay.
You probably didn't.
I didn't know that's where you're from, no.
You're going to God's country.
I love it so much. Oh, trust me, I'm a whiskey nerd. I'm doing the Bourbon Trail.
There you go. Have you done it before?
I have not, that always shocks people because, Mark, if you saw my office, you would go, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
I probably have about 300 bottles of whiskey in my office. So
okay, you'll love it, but I've got one huge piece of advice for you.
Okay.
That's stay away from Keeneland.
Okay. Fair enough.
Because whatever you're investing in that bourbon, you could lose it quickly at Keeneland.
Hey, man, it's not an investment if it's not going to get a return. And trust me, that whiskey ain't getting no return, brother. All that's doing is getting me a nice little sipping buzz every now and again. Hey, look, and when you have the Tigers this year, let me know. Come over. We'll crack open a bottle. We'll have a good time.
All right, brother. Thanks for having me back.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. That's Mark Wise, ESPN college basketball analyst. We appreciate a couple of minutes. It's after further review. We'll knock out our final break of the show. No Otter locks, so we'll do our locks and what we learn next to wrap up the show. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man, I'm going to tell you, I am so glad to be home after like 2 months of seemingly endless travel. It is so good to be back on a routine. And a huge part of my health routine every day is part of my conversations with Gabe and the team over at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Now, listen, yes, they do ED treatments if that's what you need. And it's not just pills. They have all different types of treatments to treat a variety of different issues. But that's only a part of what they do. Hormone replacement therapy, huge. Man, if you're on HRT and you're not at Goodwood, you're probably overpaying. They have the lowest prices, never any contracts, there's no membership fees, and your blood labs you do every 6 months, they foot the bill for that. They don't pass it on to you. YourGoodwood.com, YourGoodwood.com, and peptides. Everybody talks about peptides. People want to learn about peptides. Go to Goodwood. Lowest prices, never any contracts. They have dozens of options. They can help educate you on what you need. YourGoodwood.com, YourGoodwood.com.
Raising Cane's is honoring Chuck Norris on National Chicken Finger Day. For every box combo sold on July 27th, Cane's is donating $1 to Chuck's Foundation, Kickstart Kids.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 2025 Jeep Wrangler with $18,000 off MSRP.
$18,000 off Jeep Wrangler plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU Sports since.
If you need a metal building, you need ProForm Steel. They're the best. You know Brandon Golson, been in the game forever. This is the new venture, ProForm Steel. You can always go to the website, proformla.com, to request a quote. That's where I would recommend you start, proformla.com. Metal buildings built right from design to delivery, proformla.com. One of the key differentiators for ProForm Steel is their lead times. Their lead times are typically a month or two faster than competitors. And the big reason is because everything's in-house. They're typically a month, I said a week, a month shorter lead time because everything's in-house. They produce everything. Purling, sheet metal, beam fab, everything in-house. And buy a metal building from them, they'll deliver it for free. ProFormLA.com.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on the Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, door siding, shutters and shades, Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. This is typically when Jimmy would be here for Otterlocks. Now, unfortunately, Jimmy decided to go spend a month out with Lance Moore.
Where the surf meets the turf.
In Del Mar. So, by the way, next year when I do my baseball and golf trip with my brother-in-law and my nephew, last year we went to Boston. This year we went to Arizona. We decided next year we're going to go do San Diego. We're going to go watch Padres game. We're going to go play Torrey Pines.
Absolutely.
So that's
South Course, I hope.
We'll see. I haven't looked deeply enough into it. Know what's available, what we can do, we can't, whatever. But I was on the way home from Tampa last week. Hester Rivers and I took the second flight, and we had a layover in Nashville. That was the travel day from hell. But we had the layover in Nashville, and so I was telling Hester about this, and so he starts like pulling out the map. We looked up his old house in San Diego, the whole thing. It's for sale, by the way, right now. The house he lived in. It was Philip Rivers' house. That
of course it was.
That he ended up moving into, and they rented while they lived out there for 5 years, and it's for sale now. Anyway, he's like, look, that's where Jackson took his first steps. He's like, look at it. It was cool. Anyway, but so he's giving me a lot of tips, so I'm pretty excited about it. I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, Lance Moore. Yeah, next year, so I'll just call Lance Moore.
Yeah.
And I'll just go stay with Lance Moore out in Del Mar.
Smart.
Or in San Diego and then drive to Del Mar, where the surf meets the turf. Okay, since we don't have Otter locks, let's do our locks. Best bet for the night, Muse, Pauly, and I. You had enough lead time. Major League, there's no WNBA games tonight. Major League Baseball has already 4 games that are underway already. So we'll give our best bet based on what's still on the board. Muse, would you like to start us off?
Sure. I'm going to go Red Sox-Yankees parlay. Moneyline parlay here. Come back plus 158. Now, Sox are at the A's and Yankees are at the White Sox. Max Fried on the bump.
Parlay, what's coming back at?
Plus 158. $1.58 there.
Plus $1.58. How about you? Look at you betting on the Yankees. My guy, you're a Yankee fan. Paul, you got anything for us?
I'll go Reds, Guardians. I'm going to go money line on the Reds, minus 161.
Okay.
Scone.
Oh, I thought you were giving me a parlay. So it's Reds, Guardians is the game that you're taking the money line. Ooh, juicy. Juicy money line there. Juicy money line play. I'm going to go in-game. Okay. Phillies and the Marlins right now are in-game. It's tied at 2 in the bottom of the first, but I'm going to take the under 10.5. Under 10.5 in-game Phillies Marlins. You got to jump on it right now. It's at plus $1.08. It is juiced to the over at minus $1.41. So I am going to take a shot there. Phillies and Marlins under 10.5 in-game. Get it now while you can. We're brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. OLOLRMC.com/LSU. Or you can go to the FMOL website we talk about often. It's FMOLhealth.org/LSU. Championship partner of LSU Athletics. And we're thrilled that they're partnered with us here as well as we inch closer to the season. We're going to have the opportunity to they have 23 NIL athletes on the LSU football team. Part of their deliverables are going to become on AFR. So we're going to have all those guys on the show, which I'm really looking forward to doing throughout camp and throughout the season, continuing our partnership with FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake. Okay, we got like 8 seconds. So we all learned stuff. And we'll talk about that stuff tomorrow.
AFR.
I screwed that up. I didn't leave us enough time for what we learned. My bad. Sorry. As we get on down the road, I'm talking about Rouse's, the official supermarket of the Saints, Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. I thought about Rouse's today because I was editing a story. Ross Jackson wrote a story for LouisianaSports.net. It was sort of projecting Chris Olave's contract, and so I had to get a photo for the story. And the photo I got was a practice photo, and it had the Rouse's patch on the jersey. Remember, the Rouse's, official supermarket of the Saints, and they have the jersey patches for the practice jerseys for the New Orleans Saints. They are interwoven there with the Houdat Nation as the Saints hit the practice field Tuesday to start training camp. Of course, Rouse's will be front and center and all throughout the remainder of this summer and every day. From Lake Charles to Orange Beach and everywhere in between. Make sure if you're making groceries, you need something for lunch or dinner, make sure you pop in and see our friends over at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Been doing it for 100 years. Rouse's, this feels like home.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last. Because in Louisiana, toughness isn't just on the court, it's in your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last because championships are built on commitment, not just on the floor or the court, but your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit LouisianaPropane.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Ever wonder why cane sauce doesn't come in a pre-sealed packet? It's because it's made fresh inside every Raising Cane's every single day. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.